Bah. Jay, I probably need to get in that read, huh? I don't know that I have it. Okay. So they sent me a text, the Kings people. I guess I got it last night. I just saw it today. I think I'm recording something with Monty today at 2. Yeah. It's funny. Also, just to confirm, this will only be about 10 minutes, right? And if you could please send us some of the planned topics for the interview, we'd really appreciate it. It's so crazy. Check the game. Yeah. I believe so.
Playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom!
With Jason Ross.
Jay! Hey, my headset's
Text or call the show at 916-339-1140. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports 1140.
Is this thing on?
You don't have a condom on your mic.
I don't. I'm looking for one. There are other mics in this studio here in Las Vegas that do, but not, well.
I would hope in Vegas of all places.
Yes. One of the 4. Good morning and welcome back to Jay Mars.
Hi.
Hi, Jay.
I go away. You guys, apparently have fun for a few days, and then Dave happens.
And then Dave happens last. He comes back for 1 day last week, Jay. The dreaded 1-day work week for Dave because we all had Monday and Tuesday off. You had the rest of the week off, which was great. I was back Wednesday with Christopher Laud. Thursday, Dave made his faithful return, and then as many of you who follow Dave on social media saw the positive test results for COVID. So unfortunately,
he posted about it?
Do you think Dave would post about something like that? Of course he would.
Absolutely not. He's a very private man, doesn't like to share his life with anybody.
Yeah. So he let it be known. And the trick for me and others that were coming to Vegas, obviously Dave has not been permitted in Nevada at all. Like he just can't leave his confines.
They stopped him at the border. Actually, let's just let's tell people what actually happened.
We built a wall, and we've kept him from coming into Las Vegas.
Las Vegas thanks us.
Yes, but made it here over the weekend. Friday, got here for the Kings press conference on Friday. Good to see Monty and the newest Kings, Malik Monk, Kevin Herter. By the way, it looks like we will have Monty McNair with us tomorrow. Lots of guests today over the weekend of basketball that we had out here in Vegas. The G-Man, Gary Gerald, scheduled to join us today. Had a chance to talk to him yesterday. Seth Greenberg, who was the analyst on the game yesterday, as the Kings, they're the featured team. They're the Summer League darlings as 2-time champions and defending their title. Getting a lot of ESPN coverage. Sam Amick will not be with us later in the week. He's off to a European vacation with the Griswolds, but he is going to join us as well. And, Jay, I believe, rumor has it, 8:00. Is there going to be a Carmichael Dave appearance?
So there's been a lot of haggling behind the scenes, a lot of negotiations. I believe we will have him from about 8 to 8:25.
Ooh, okay.
Can't guarantee anything given his circumstances, but we're making an effort there. We're efforting Dave.
Yeah, I think, when you go to Vegas, and you'll hear it in the conversation with Sam Amick, there's Vegas voice, and it's just whether it's air conditioning at 70 degrees or 115. Like, there's no in between in this city. I mean, that's good and bad, but that's like people are like, how hot is it? I'm like, well, I'm inside most of the time, but the second you get outside, you're like, wow. I mean, it's just a blast, but there's no in between, Jay, in Vegas. And I feel like it gets everybody what I would call Vegas voice.
Nope. I've had Vegas voice before. I avoid Vegas like the plague, as you know, basically, because if you go to Vegas, there's a good chance you can catch some sort of plague that no one's ever heard of yet.
Right.
But the other side is I hate the heat. And then to your point, you get into your hotel room, all you want is 65 degrees AC.
Right, which you get.
Which you do, but it's a really bad mixture of hot and cold, I feel like. So I know what you're talking about. It
lends everybody to just feeling a little bit wonky. And speaking of voices, you and I had a chance to talk to Dave yesterday. Wow, that sounded unique.
It was we joked that he could join us for a segment as a completely different human.
Yeah.
And nobody would know because his voice was shot number one.
Yes.
And then what did we spend on the phone with him last night? Maybe 10 minutes.
Maybe.
He was like gassed after that conversation.
Yeah, he literally was winded. He was talking about COVID fog and just being winded, and he does feel better, which is encouraging. But obviously this week, today we'll have the little appearance from him, but maybe throughout the week we might have him working from home.
Yeah, that's the goal. But again, if you haven't had COVID yet, congratulations. And then secondly, man, it is so easy to get winded. Doing a 3-hour radio show where all you're doing is talking and, using your brain, very difficult. So we'll see. I think he's going to try to power through, but he'll find out today, I think, after that first 30 minutes that,
Yeah. The other thing about being in Vegas, and we got our regular scheduled show, we got a lot planned here. Jay, it happened to me again this morning. I think the last time I was here for Summer League, I think Dave was off. I remember filling in the morning with you and Kyle and going to a radio station, with different station today. And thanks to everybody out here at Q who's helping us out, and just everybody here in Lotus Broadcasting in Las Vegas. But I had that awkward feeling of, okay, leave the hotel room at, I don't know, 4:45 or something, walk downstairs, and I'm starting my day. You're starting your day. But in Vegas, like, we're used to this in Sacramento. That's what we do. We work in the morning. But Vegas doesn't work that way. And I'm just looking at all the people that are still at tables, still having a night, like their day hasn't finished. And I'm like, oh man, I'm the guy that's already slept or whatever I got in, and I'm going to start my day, and everyone else is just still having the time of their life.
Hammered.
And it's just, there's a lady walking around again. This happened the last time I was here. She was walking with them, and like, no shoes. Like, she wasn't even carrying them. Like,
Ew,
yeah. And I'm
gross.
like, I don't know what her evening was like, but it looked like she had a good time. And you just go, man, Vegas is just a completely different entity.
It really is. It's its own sort of life form. Real quick, going back to what you were saying though about lady with no shoes on. I'm not a super judgmental person. I kind of just leave people to themselves, let them do what they do.
What do you think was going on there?
An FCC fine if I say what I'm really thinking. But I do reserve judgment for people that walk around in public places barefoot. That is just disgusting.
Well, especially Vegas, right? You said you can catch just about any and everything. I think you actually catch everything when you're here.
Right. No, it's like a magic, like, super disease or something. It's called Vegas.
Right. And maybe some of them cross each other out. You're like, yeah, I got all those, but they canceled each other out and I'm still functioning. But just a weird, different place that just, I mean, there's so much going on here. It just always has been, always will be.
Yeah, it's not a city for me, but those of you that enjoy it, I understand why. It is it's the city that never sleeps,
Yes.
It's
So
alive
true.
24 hours, 365. If you need something to do and you want to go somewhere where you can just kind of chill and walk around at all hours of the night and do you, hey, Do you? Just not for me.
Well, and we've had a great time here so far. A couple more days, a couple more shows here.
We got some big interviews already.
Yeah, and we got some more coming, which we look forward to. And that's the thing, Jay, about anybody that's made the trip. But one, I think it's super affordable to go to Summer League. The prices, like everything, have gone up and changed. But the fact that you can get a ticket for a day and watch as many as, well, I can't say you can watch both games because you're in one of the two gyms. But usually they're on the weekend, especially, there were 4 games in each gym. So if you just park yourself in Thomas and Mack, you can watch 4 straight games. You can bounce around to Cox Pavilion. But the fact that you literally will have any and everybody from the NBA that might literally be sitting next to you or just walk up by you, and it's like, hey, there's Woj. Hey, there's Jerry West. Hey, there was the first game the Kings were playing on Saturday. I was sitting baseline on the bench, or not on the bench, but just some seats before the Kings started. And I happened to look to my left and went, whoa, there's Steve Ballmer. Why is he here for this game? And you just watch him. He's just a basketball fan. And which was an odd thing to see him that early. Okay. Like, he's at the first game on a Saturday, which was the Kings and the Magic.
I already have to bust you out.
Yeah.
You had Ballmer within striking distance and you don't have an interview with him. I just needed him to while out about the Clippers for 2 minutes.
That's all I needed. I had a different goal, Jay. I was just looking to see if he would stand up to see if any money fell out of his pocket.
You know what? He strikes me as the type that doesn't carry cash.
Oh, really?
Actually, wait, no, Microsoft guy, right? Yeah, no, he carries cash still.
I think that
was a shot at Microsoft.
Yes.
A really poor one, but a shot nonetheless.
What is the percentage, by the way? This is going to be an age and generational thing. Where do you think we are? This is really hard to tell, but percentage of people that carry cash versus people that don't.
Oh, I mean, it's very generational. I don't know. I mean, I got a couple of dollars in my wallet right now. I can't say I don't carry cash ever.
So what's that for, though? Just in case?
I had pulled out cash for something that I need. Oh, I took Isaiah to the donut shop and they're cash only. So I had to pull out
you knew that ahead of time. But normally you may or may not have cash.
Yeah, it just depends if I have to go to some sort of establishment that's cash only. That is the only time I ever pull out cash.
Makes sense.
And that's really, I think, the only one that I kind of go to. So maybe once a month I have a little bit of cash on me, but again, answer your question, I would say it's about 60-40 of people who carry cash versus don't. I still think the majority of people at some point have a little cash in their wallet.
Yeah, and that's obviously being here and taking either cabs or Uber. I mean, I've actually been more cabs this time. In the past, I've done more Ubers, but you could do obviously both. You're like, you have cash or you have card, and you kind of have to hear. I don't know that you have to have cash, but obviously you have to have that card because this is also an expensive city, or it can be, I guess. Let's put it that way.
No, it's an expensive city. If you go to Vegas with the idea that you're not spending any money, what are you there for?
Right.
What are you actually doing? Are you visiting the big Marshalls on the strip? Like what is happening?
You've seen me. You saw my social media post.
I've been in that Marshalls. It's phenomenal.
I just don't, and I've been here with people that, I don't really gamble. I like to gamble. I've been gambling. I have had some fun. You know what? I won. I lost the first day, which is bad to be behind from the get-go, the very first day. I was better in day 2, got some money back, but I'm still behind. So you feel like you're chasing your initial loss, which was a bummer, but not too bad.
That's how they suck you in, Jason. You lose big at first, and then you incrementally get it back. So you keep going and you keep going, and by the time the trip is over, you're still in the red.
Yeah, these casinos keep being built. I guess they're doing okay.
Yeah, I feel like, especially in that city, that is an industry that if I had some money and they're like, where do you want to invest? I'd probably build a casino.
Absolutely, because that's a money-making proposition for sure.
Unless you were the Hooters one, right? Did that one close?
Oh, I don't even know. I haven't seen.
How do you not know?
I don't know. You basically the
first thing I check for when I go to Vegas, see if the Hooters casino is still open.
Marshalls.
Yes,
that's your plan when you're here. By the way, before we go to break, Jay, everybody's wondering.
You sounded very judgmental with your voice.
I felt I was sending it on purpose. Where are you? We can't see you on our beautiful YouTube.
I'm in my.
They want to see you.
I'm in my normal spot where I normally broadcast from. However, not that anyone cares. When we are remote, we use a separate thing called StreamYard, and that only has one studio camera, which is pointed at the main host, which clearly I am not in that position. So you get a wonderful logo that bounces when I talk.
I see it. I'm wondering if you got like a new face tattoo. That's why we're not seeing.
No face tattoo. Considered it, but when just decided that, not really for me.
Okay.
I get people that do it. That, like I said, I'm not exactly a judgmental person unless you walk around Vegas with no
Without
shoes
shoes.
on. But you want to get a face tat? That's all you, bro.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Not my thing.
Enjoy. All right, we're just getting started. We got a jam-packed show here on this Monday. When we come back, it's leading off.
If you want all the latest news and opinions about your favorite teams, visit us on IG, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140. The best and most expansive coverage of your local sports. Sactown Sports 1140.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave talking about my friends at American Energy. $49 tune-up offer. I did it 2 weeks ago. You should do it too. It's only $49 for an air conditioning tune-up, and you get a free indoor air quality test. Oh, it's so simple. Call today to schedule your appointment with my local friends at American Energy at 916-520-9990. Catch the 916 there, 520-9990. A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. Been around since 81. Go to AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Safe is such a great word. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa for Safe Credit Union. Safe just makes me feel secure with a sense of comfort. And in these turbulent times, finding anything that makes you feel protected is good for the soul. Being a member of SAFE keeps your money local, gives you access to lower rates and higher dividends, while also giving you a sense of comfort that comes from knowing that your money is, well, safe. Safe Credit Union is insured by NCUA.
Let's do it. It's time for Leading Off. Brought to you by Lasher's Elk Grove Dodge, where for over 60 years, their name means a great deal in Elk Grove Auto Mall and online at elkgrovedodge.com. Here's cut number one.
Yeah, I think it was really good for us, especially when they made the run and we were able to execute down the stretch. So it was a good win. Glad we got one after the last one for sure.
That is the voice of the rookie, Keegan Murray, number 4 pick overall, and I think he's looked good between the California Classic, certainly between Las Vegas. We're going to spend a lot of time today talking about him. Our guests that are going to be on are going to reflect on what they've seen so far from Keegan Murray. And when you come out here, you are trying to defend your Summer League title.
Yes.
And the Sacramento Kings, honestly, Jay, the game Saturday was about as entertaining of a game as you can get. I know it's Summer League, the 16-point rally with 3 minutes to go, the 6 points in the last 5 seconds, overtime where it looked like the Kings were then going to win, only to force sudden death. I think the Kings got jobbed on a few calls for whatever that's worth. But that was like, I was totally into that game.
Greatest Summer League game of all time?
Find a better one.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I was shocked how fun that was. And you going back to what you're saying about the referees, kind of jobbing the Kings. I had this thought the whole time. Worst officiating job, game 6 in 02 or 20 years later, Summer League game 1?
The impact of losing game 1 of the Summer League is really hurting the quest for back-to-back Summer League titles.
Well, and especially now that you've seen those rings, there's Summer League rings.
Just sour about all of that right now. But that game was funny. I thought the game was actually pretty good for a while. And then just specifically Banchero versus Keegan Murray was great. And then, as I said, the Kings are down, I think 16 or 18. Just like, oh man, this one kind of slid on them. That's too bad. And then all of a sudden here, okay, the Kings hit a 3. Oh, stop and score. Okay, well, it's 10, but there's just not enough time. And here they come back. And then yesterday to back it up with a solid win too, especially when Keita left the game. When he left the game, Kings just had 0 rebounding. But really, to me, it's about watching Keita, Keon Ellis, and then specifically Keegan Murray. And a lot of people, Jay, are raving about Keegan Murray. And I think what's funny is I think labels are dangerous in sports. But some of the things they're saying about Keegan Murray, I think we're right, where there's not all this sizzle with his game, but he does everything right. And you could just tell when he's around Fox, Sabonis, Barnes, just better players, he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, no, I think Monty McNair made that pick with that in mind. I know everyone looked at it like, oh, it's a pick for fit, which I'm sure there is a level of it that is, even if they don't want to admit it. But honestly, in just a few games we've seen him, he's so much poise. And I think a lot of that you can attribute to playing college basketball for more than 1 year. And the other side of that as well is kind of what you're saying. Monty McNair, like, he picks guys it seems like he just knows aren't going to suck, right?
Right.
Like, we've picked in the past so many guys where we're sold on this tremendous upside and they just, it never comes to fruition. And so I think a lot of people get caught up on the idea that if you have a high floor, which is what, Keegan Murray is described at, that your ceiling might be lower. And I couldn't disagree more. I just think, Keegan Murray, I think, has a high ceiling. It's just going to show already his floor is already extremely high too, which for a team that is looking to compete and be a playoff team next year, you can't ask for much more right now.
Yeah, we're going to hear from him later. We're going to hear from others that have watched him here in Vegas. And I think you're going to hear kind of that constant theme. I think the other thing that stands out is, like, let's take the game tying three. So the Kings forced that steal Saturday. He gets it. And just the awareness to do let two fly by. He shoots the three, makes it. Like, the bench is going nuts. Everybody in the building is going nuts. And he's trying to find the guy to guard.
Yeah, I know. He pulls the Reggie Miller out of his, you know what. And yeah, exactly. And that goes to, we talk about this all the time, right? The Kings have just seemed to forever get a bunch of guys that have low basketball IQs. That not the case here.
Not at all. Not at all. And I think, and when we hear from him later too, you'll hear, like, just even the nuance of his game, how aware he is. Like yesterday, for example, he didn't rebound very well as far as the stats go. But watching him in person, you're like, he tipped two for other people to keep the play alive. And he even brought that up. He's like, I didn't really have the rebounds, but I knew I consciously put a couple that I just couldn't get, but I tipped to other people. And you just think, man, like, he's so aware of his game. Right. And I appreciate that. I think he's a smart player. And again, I like, Jay, the fact that put him around. There was a couple plays Saturday specifically sitting down low, watching like him back cut and Keita maybe through the pass late, or some of these other guys that are, not going to be NBA players. I go, you missed him. Like, it's just where you go, Sabonis isn't going to miss that. Right. Fox isn't going to miss that. And he just gets it. I'm really excited about what he's going to be.
He just gets it. And with Fox and Sabonis kind of being, as of right now, your core pieces, he looks like a complimentary player. And I think that sounds negative when you hear it. But when you start to look at the context, him as a complimentary player, he's going to be very, very important to this team's success this year.
Yeah.
And I feel like if he can come out, and I'm not necessarily saying replicate his numbers in Summer League, because Summer League and the NBA are two completely different worlds. But if he can just basically fit in, do what he's doing in the sense of not making mistakes, playing with poise, finding guys, tipping it to the right players, as you were saying, I think he's going to have a very impactful rookie year, and that's all you can ask for right now.
Yeah, I think, too, the fact that the shot is effortless.
Yeah, it really is.
Like, that's going to be a big weapon for him around better players, too. So we've got much more on him. Let's go to cut number 2.
Cut number 2.
And now a big forehand in the same spot. That was right on the baseline. Kyrgios gets it back. He's into the net. Novak Djokovic, arms aloft. It's a magnificent 7th Wimbledon title for Novak Djokovic.
Amongst the many things we learned yesterday, Jay, in our conversation with Carmichael Dave, he watched the entire Wimbledon men's final.
That's how you know he's been out with COVID.
Yeah.
He's stuck in a room.
Yeah, secluded by himself, quarantining from his family. He watched all of Wimbledon. He said, you know what? I actually enjoyed it. And I do, too. I enjoyed Wimbledon. I didn't see much of the men's final. I was seeing a lot of the tournament prior to. I really enjoyed the Fritz and Nadal matchup. What was that in the quarterfinals? But here's Novak Djokovic winning another Wimbledon title. And we're in a really good time, I would say, and nearing the end of it, with Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer still going to try to come back. We've got 3 of the greatest tennis players of all time, but it really hasn't translated, I think, into this resurrection for the sport, unfortunately.
No, not at all. We talked about that, I think, 2 weeks ago, last time I was here, and, Djokovic winning 7. He's won Wimbledon 7 times. That's and kind of to your point, it doesn't really hit you, does it?
No.
It's like, that is the most prestigious tournament in the sport. This guy's won it 7 times, and we're all just kind of like, all right.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Move on to the next.
Yeah. Expected it, right? Expected him to win title 7. He does it, and it's like, okay, next.
Right. And then just racking up Grand Slams, him, Nadal, Federer. It's pretty amazing, but congrats to Djokovic, who I guess has come out and said, he won't play in the U.S. Open because of still of the refusal to get vaccinated, and so he won't be able to play in that. And I guess he's obviously comfortable with that.
Yeah, I think he'll be just fine not playing the U.S. Open.
Exactly. All right, cut number 3.
Cut number 3.
Gray will look to get him in, and he does. Out he goes to DeAndre Hunter. Now in the middle, Gallo has it. 3 seconds. He has to turn and shoot, and he makes the 3. There you go, Gallo. We need you tonight, buddy.
There you go. The highlights from Danilo Gallinari, who was a member of the Hawks, got traded to the Spurs, part of that DeJounte Murray trade, but he was then bought out, released, and signs on a 2-year deal with the Boston Celtics. And Jay, and a lot of people out here talking about, well, really the other, besides watching the rookies, like the top 4 or 5 guys out here, everybody's just talking about Durant because that's going to move the next big piece in the NBA. But I think what Boston has done by adding Brogdon, adding Gallinari, and keeping, for the most part, everything they had, Boston's legit. They're going to be good again.
Yeah, I right now, if you had to bet who's going to win the Eastern Conference, I can't really bet against the Celtics. I think Miami will still be really good next year. The Nets obviously won't be. I mean, they were a 7 seed this year, but with the whole Durant Kyrie thing, who knows what that team is going to look like? Philadelphia should be better in theory with a full year of Harden. Adding a guy like PJ Tucker, again, in theory, should be better. But man, hard to bet against the Boston Celtics right now.
That's for sure. So they add Danilo Gallinari. We're going to get a lot into the show, as we said, about the Kings out here still to come. We're going to hear from Sam Amick, Seth Greenberg, G-Man, Keegan Murray as well. Lots to get to. When we come back, though, let's look at some other news and notes from the weekend. The British Open is set to go this week, and Tony Romo rallies to win the American Century Championship for the 3rd time. We've got that and more coming up.
It's Sactown Sports 1140. You wanted more Kings coverage? Online at SactownSports.com. More Niners, more Raiders. SactownSports.com. This is Sactown Sports 1140.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Melanie Hunter in the KCRA3 Weather Center. It's a warmer start in the upper 60s near 70 degrees. That'll lead to another hot day. We'll get sunshine and light winds with daytime highs maxing out in the 101 to 105 range. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Shop a dealership you can trust. Folsom Lake Kia, over 20 years right here in Sacramento. Save big on your favorite new Kia models and get low interest financing. Visit my friends at FolsomLakeKia.com.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Coastside Clinic. Are you struggling with ED and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The WAVE technology at Coastside Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000. Guys, put a stop to your ED and get your love life back. Call Coastside Clinic now to qualify. 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000.
I am Nathan. This is Sean. This is Wanye. And we are Boys to Men.
The greatest R&B group of all time is back. Boys to Men in concert. Saturday, July 30th, Thunder Valley Outdoor Amphitheater with High Five, Father MC, and Shy. Tickets on sale now. For the summer concert schedule and to purchase tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Boys to Men.
Hi, I'm Flo from Progressive. Being a baseball fanatic like me can be stressful. It's not all sports points and touchdowns. So Progressive is going to help you take your mind off your team for a moment. Instead of thinking about how they missed that goal point score, think about the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, letting you choose coverage options based on your budget, unlike your team that missed the end zone net area. Well, anyway, hope this distraction about Progressive's Name Your Price tool was helpful. It sure kept me from thinking about all those penalty balls. Yay, sports!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
At Lowe's, every pro is an MVP to us. That's why we're introducing MVP's bonus points to our rewards and partnership program. It's the only pro loyalty program where you can earn points just by downloading our app or shopping select items by trusted brands and more. Then redeem your points for rewards that level up your business. Join MVP's Pro Rewards today and earn your first 1,000 points. MVP's Pro Rewards program subject to program terms and conditions. Details at Lowe's.com/L/pro loyalty terms. Subject to change.
Greetings, Sacramento, and everyone listening to KHTK. It's Doug Christie here with the Good Feet Store asking, when was the last time you did something nice for your feet? If you're like most people, your feet get attention only when there's a problem. That can mean something painful, maybe real painful, like plantar fasciitis. That was me. I counted on my feet to make a living, but ignored them until almost too late. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet store, got my free personalized fitting and test walk, and in 20 minutes, I left with my expertly fit Good Feet 3-step arch support system. The pain was no more, and my feet have never felt so comfortable. I'm a Good Feet believer, and you can be too. Come in for a free fitting and test walk. Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, and Modesto. Online at goodfeet.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Do you have any superstitions on the golf course? You know, most players do, and Link's Golf Magazine offers a few. Never tee in front of someone who just made a birdie. That's sure to incur the wrath of the golf gods. What's your lucky ball marker? Maybe a quarter with your birth year? And never carry an extra ball in your pocket, and never use a ball you deem a water ball on a par 3 with a water hazard. There's a reason they're called water balls. And never use a ball found during a round. Using it the same day is bad karma. And if there's an unbroken tee on the tee box, another golfer left it behind for good reason. Speaking of tees, according to the late Tony Lima, white tees suffered from commonness and can be bad luck. Lee Trevino never used yellow. Other colors are acceptable, even pink, if you're Paula Kramer. If you're in the middle of a career round, don't go near the ball washer. You might wash away the ball's magical awesomeness. And never talk to your competitor's ball in flight. Yelling hook, carry, get down, or hit a house will come back to haunt you. Kind of makes you feel normal, huh? If that's your Golf to Go, I'm Frank LaRosa.
Broadcasting live from the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Brought to you by Power Business Technology. Visit them at powercopiers.com.
That's right. Our thanks to Power Business Technology, helped making all of this happen. We've had some, I hope you've had a chance to check out some of our social media at Sactown Sports 1140 between Chris and Frankie, what they've been able to do. We've got more things planned over the next couple days. Plenty of guests coming your way today. And doing shows here today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Unfortunately, we weren't full staff out here as Carmichael Dave wasn't able to join us, but he will join us later in the show at 8 o'clock. Still to come some guests today. The G-Man, Seth Greenberg, Sam Amick. We'll hear some reaction from the players and new coach, I say new coach, but Summer League coach Jordy Fernandez. That was the other thing, Jay, watching the Kings. I know we'll get into some golf here in a minute, but man, like we're like 20 deep in coaches and staff, like between the front row, back row. I'm like, my goodness, that just feel like everybody or every player might have a one or two coaches isolated to just them. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it really is. And then when you look at the quality of coaches the Kings have too, I saw a picture. It was of Doug, Bobby, and Leandro Barbosa.
How about Barbosa now?
Yeah. Everyone's like, man, back in the day, that would have been a hell of a backcourt.
Yes. And that's not even counting Mike Brown, who's obviously been here. He's watching the other guys. And I think the constant theme, and you're going to hear this today from some of our interviews, is I believe people like what the Kings are doing. Like two things can be true here. I think they like what they've done. I think they like their free agent signings. I think they like Keegan Murray. But then everyone else is looking at the landscape of the West and just says, how?
Yeah, no, that really is what it comes down to, right? When you look at everybody and the overhaul that's happening there, if you look at the 10 postseason teams from last year, who's coming out right now? The Spurs, obviously. And then you have, it seems like Utah is going to take a step back this season. But you talk about the Lakers will probably be better, right?
Yeah,
Portland, you would have to imagine is going to be better. But, I would say the only teams right now that you look at on paper that aren't as good as the Kings are probably the Rockets, the Thunder, the Spurs, and maybe the Jazz. So, yeah, no, the Kings are going to have to put together something, though. They have a good team.
Yes, they do.
And Monty McNair has incrementally made this team better. But, yeah, they're going to need some help from up top in the Western Conference.
Yeah, and or have just one of those seasons that you go, wow, where did Sabonis plays truly like an all-star. Fox does the same. Everything else falls into place. They stay relatively injury-free. That's a lot of things going your way.
And I think everyone, we always, especially going into the season, you look at everything with those purple colored glasses, right? Like, man, if this happens, if that happens, and it's all possible. But again, to expect that Domas, De'Aaron are going to have all-star seasons, then Keegan Murray is going to have a rookie of the year level season. Kevin Huerter is going to come in and shoot 42% from three, stuff like this. Malik Monk is going to be a sixth man type player. There is a lot going on there that has to happen. And I would imagine not all of it is, but I'll tell you this much, Jason, especially after the Huerter trade, because I know we haven't really spoke about that. I've been gone. they are a significantly better team, and it seems like here's what the strategy is. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's Domas, it's Fox, and a bunch of shooting.
Yeah, I mean,
that seems to be the goal.
They clearly addressed shooting, and people like, okay, I think shooting, depth, athleticism, they've upgraded all those areas. Now people go defense. I've maintained this, Jay, on the team defensively. I think a lot of that's going to be put on the coach, Mike Brown.
For sure.
The accountability scheme, even his opening press conference, he called out Fox. Like, look, he's got the ability to do it. And good, call him out, hold him accountable, De'Aaron.
Yeah.
If you truly can be a great defensive player, this team will be better. We know Mitchell will bring it. And then can you cover up where some of your weaknesses are, find more people that can defend? And again, we're asking him to be, can you be 20th, 18th, not 29th and 30th? You have no chance. So just be a little bit better defensively.
Right. I think if they can be top 10 offensively and then somewhere between 18 and 22 on the defensive side, which
that's
isn't
a winning formula.
It's not great, but to your point, it's a playoff formula, right?
Yes, for sure.
Ooh,
for sure. That'll work. That'll work for them. So we'll get more into the Kings coming up. Want to get a couple of tie up loose ends from the weekend. The British Open's coming up this week. Tiger Woods is going to give it a go. Cheerio. That's right. It's one of those tournaments. It's probably my least favorite of the majors, just because of the time difference. It's a more difficult watch, I would say. Now it'll be helpful to
watch live. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I mean, because it's just the time. What is 8-hour difference, if I'm not mistaken. Makes it a little bit more challenging, but it's still a unique. Unique setup with the kind of the link style course, usually a lot of wind, all the mounds that they have to kind of play through, and there's the high rough. Makes for good golf, though. Should be a fun week.
That's why I like it. I think of the four, the Masters is probably the most watchable for me.
Yeah.
And then the British Open, because of the things you just said, where, if you had to rank the four majors for me, it would probably go Masters, British, US, and then the PGA Championship to me is probably the least.
Yeah,
of all four.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same kind of zip that the others do. That's for sure. Also, speaking of golf, we talked a lot about this last week, Jay. Kind of your while you were gone, who would be your of the people that were playing at the American Century Championship in Tahoe? Who would be the foursome that you would want to play with? And there, there's a lot of different types of people out there. Whether you're going for comedy, great stories with former athlete legends, current athletes as well. But in the end, they're out there competing, trying to win. Tony Romo wins for the third time. He won in a playoff as he defeated Mark Mulder and Joe Pavelski. Hockey players usually do pretty well out there. But watching
Mark Mulder was playing?
Mark Mulder?
A's legend Mark Mulder?
Yes.
Wow, I did not know.
He's won before. Yeah, he's really good.
I saw Tony won. I'm going to be honest, I didn't click the link to see any real coverage of this Classic.
Well, what happens, so the 17th hole, 18th hole are the 17th hole is like the party hole, and they're people out there on the boats. Like if, Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers are out there, they're throwing passes to people out on the boat. Curry, they had a hoop up there. Curry shooting threes. You got music playing when Justin Timberlake comes up there.
Romo throws an interception.
Oh, wow.
What?
That's true. Charles Wilson got him.
Yeah, no, he threw an interception. I saw it.
But he's a heck of a golfer.
The game was on the line. It was hole 18. Of course, he's going to throw an interception.
You know what I didn't see? I'm going to bring up the leaderboard here. There was the big quest was, could Charles Barkley finish in the top 70? He didn't. Tied for 74th. He's getting better.
Come on, Chuck.
But I think Curry even said something like they asked him, like, no, he will not finish in the top 70. Guarantee it. Send this to him. Let him know. And then he finished in 74th. Dead last, Jay, was Robert Griffin III.
RG3, not a golfer, huh?
I guess not. He finished dead last.
Wow. What is dead last? 100 something?
Well, they do. I forget what it's called. Modified Stableford scoring. It's a little bit different. I think it's you get 8 points maybe for an eagle, 3 for a birdie, maybe nothing for a par, -1 and -2 if you birdie or if you bogey or double bogey. And RG3 was -89.
-89?
Yeah, compared to the leader.
I could have done better than that.
Tony Romo was +62.
Wow.
What a swing. What a big difference.
Almost 140 or something around there, point differential. Do they do point differential? Because my Lord.
That's quite a run. Let's see. The Miz finished at -61 in 83rd place.
Gosh, the thing is, the Miz looks like he would be good at golf.
You think so?
Yeah. Look at him.
I'm trying to think. We had a draft with Chris, Dave, and myself.
Of course, he took the Miz, didn't he?
Chris didn't.
Really?
Yeah, his first pick, I knew it would be. I think he picked Michael Pena. He likes him.
He picked Michael Pena with his first pick.
I believe so.
He's such a contrarian.
I didn't like Dave's team. Dave had Aaron Rodgers. He had Steph that was good. I think he had was it Steve Young or Jerry Rice? I can't remember. I went comedy. I had Barkley. I had Colin Jost. I had Rob Riggle and Justin Timberlake.
Oh, that's a terrific foursome.
See, I thought so. Like I'd have some fun. I'd hear some stories. Some of the guys are pretty good golfers. Let's do a quick check of the top 10. Marshall Faulk was 10th.
All right, Marshall.
Aaron Rodgers, 9th. Derek Lowe finished 8th. Mike Modano, 7th. Marty Fish, 6th. I thought this was a bit unfair. Annika Sorensen was leading for a lot. She was a golfing legend, but she was 4th, tied with Adam Thielen of the Vikings. Then Joe Pavelski, Mark Mulder, and Tony Romo were all in the playoff, and Romo ended up winning.
Did not have on my show bingo card mentions for both Mark Mulder and Derek Lowe this morning.
Yeah?
Derek Lowe, Dodgers legend.
Oh, wow. You're going to go Dodgers legend there.
He is a Dodgers legend.
Steph Curry won amongst the Currys. He beat Dell. Seth, I think, was near the bottom. Let me find Seth really fast.
Seth doesn't strike me as a good golfer.
Poor Seth. Like, he's always, the runner-up. Here he is, runner-up to Steph and his dad. Yeah, he finished 67.
Let's look at Seth's career earnings, and then let's say poor Seth again.
Yeah, what do you have for that? Do you have it?
No, but I can pull it up
he's doing just fine. Let's see who else. Larry the Cable Guy finished in 80th. Way to go, Larry the Cable Guy. All right, we got more to get to here coming up. Like we said, we got a lot of content here from what's going on in Vegas. Our thanks to Power Business Technology. Find them online at powerbusinesscopiers.com. But the G-Man's coming up. Seth Greenberg, Sam Amick. We will have Carmichael Dave. When we come back, we'll kind of wrap things up on this first hour with the Major League Baseball All-Star stars were announced coming up for the big game next week at Dodger Stadium. Only one Giant and only one Oakland A. The Giants are in a spot. They may need to do something. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Breaking news, the latest happenings with your favorite teams.
Do you ever wonder about what the heck all these kids are doing on the computers all the time?
Stay up to date with all of it by following us on Instagram and Twitter.
Excuse me, gentlemen, a little update for you.
At Sactown 1140.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
If you want to hit the golf ball farther and straighter, the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio offers you the opportunity to experience the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA Tour professionals. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is an indoor facility that opens onto the driving range so you can see your all-important ball flight. With the advantages of cutting-edge technology and analyzing your ball flight, the Hagen Oaks professional staff will make you a better player. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio, Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway, or call 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531 for longer, straighter drives.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed small business. Local ownership cuts out the red tape while ensuring our staff has the autonomy to make the quick, respectable business decisions necessary to deliver on our promise to always exceed the expectations of our customers. The power of our local family team will help you with your business printing needs. Contact us today at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729. Or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Great, and the purchase markets are doing this thing and that thing. Shelby, as I always say, you're the captain of the ship that gets everybody through those waters. What's going on over at United Wholesale Lending?
We are heavily focused on purchase business right now.
This is the time of year, I know. You would think more people go and see houses, but how is that working as opposed to rates scaring people? Are we still seeing that huge influx of people going out there?
Well, there's some more inventory that's coming onto the market, and the market is shifting from a seller's market to a buyer's market. Even with the interest rates going up, now the market is kind of softening up and making it easier for home buyers to get their offer accepted and also to get a better deal.
You can pre-approve them on the phone in under 15 minutes without even running their credit. But what you also do is you give them the exact things they need to knock out personally so that they can get into homes.
That's exactly right. We create a roadmap to get them in the position to buy a house.
RefinanceWithShelby.com. That's RefinanceWithShelby.com. NMLS number 279051. BRA number 01864354.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, listen up. Pi Insurance wants to give you one of those aha moments, the kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right. But many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. And with helpful representatives just a call away, it's easy to understand why Pi is rated excellent by customers on Trustpilot. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or go to trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Broadcasting live from the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Brought to you by Power Business Technology. Visit them at powercopiers.com.
Coming to you from Las Vegas, Jason Ross here with you. Jay Mars. At least we believe it's Jay. I've heard his voice. I'm looking at our YouTube. I just see Sactown Sports.
That's me now.
That's you.
You're asking for that face tattoo? That's what I got, the logo tatted on me over there.
Is. I mean, just all in on the company. I love that, Jay. That's
know,
why you took the week off, like really to get everything lined up and looking good.
Lined up literally and looking good literally. Yeah, man, team player, new logo, new branding. I figure if I walk out of the house with it,
yeah,
it's a great conversation starter.
For sure. And I can't wait for you to debut it so we can all see it. Maybe next week when we're kind of back to regularly scheduled programming, I hope. So we will have Carmichael Dave with us later today in the show. He's going to check in at 8. A voice pending, right? Because he's got the COVID voice, that's for sure. But he will be checking in with us. We got lots of guests coming up from here. So many great things. Great seeing Kings fans out here. Lots of different people out here coming to make the trip. I would say it's more of a West Coast feel, like in the gym yesterday, Jay. So. They said, "All right, Pacer fans, let's hear you," and I was like,
"Fart in church."
Yeah, it was like Tyrese Halliburton clapping and no one else. And then, all right, Kings fans. I mean, it wasn't filled to the of Kings fans, but it was much louder. And yeah, a lot of West Coast, a lot of Lakers, as you'd expect. And from what I hear, Vegas is probably the team they like the most here.
Oh yeah, Vegas is a Laker town for sure.
Yeah, and I remember at Thomas and Mack years ago when Lonzo Ball was here, and that thing was filled with Laker fans, even into the upper deck. I'm like, whoa, a lot of Laker fans in this building.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a preseason? Because I know the Lakers always play preseason games in Vegas, and I want to say it was a Thomas and Mack game, and it was a obviously preseason game for that. Wasn't that where Bano just like broke Kobe's ankles?
Bano, I saw him yesterday too. That might be the case. Why not? Right?
Wait, you saw Bano?
Yes, random. Okay.
Wait a minute. You have not told me this.
All right. Let me give you the who would be the most random of these 3 that I can confirm. Let me see if there's any other former Kings. Let me see. These are the 3 I can remember that I have seen. Bano. The next one will make sense. Jabari Smith Sr. And Darius Sangaila was playing blackjack one table away from me 2 days ago.
I think Sangaila is the most random of those 3.
And I think he's with Spurs, maybe? I can't remember which
He's still
team.
playing?
No, he's on somebody's bench. I feel like it's the Spurs, maybe Dallas. I can't remember exactly, but that's a pretty good list of former Kings.
Did not have Darius Sangaila on your Vegas bingo card.
I did not either. All right, we got much more NBA coming up. The Major League Baseball All-Star Game is taking place next week at Dodger Stadium. Yet again, the All-Stars were announced yesterday. I think it's the second straight year, Jay, they mentioned 30 new All-Stars this season.
Because they have to pick people from crap teams.
Well, for example, I mean, sorry,
Yes.
Oakland A's, Paul Blackburn, which we thought from a while would probably be their only A, and he is. Only one Giant, and I'm not saying they got robbed because their season has just fallen apart. Jock Peterson is the one Giant that's going. And at this point, I'm not so sure the Giants are going to make it. And if that's the case, is it time for them to look at moving? You know, I think Rodon would get a great return. I think Peterson could get a return if you wanted to. You know, there's a few other guys that, you know, that you could maybe move if to make yourselves better in the future. I'm not sure which way the Giants are going to go, if they're going to be buyers or sellers here, Jay, because they're kind of on that pendulum here where you could be aggressive and try to get in, and it's a wild card. And if you're in, you got a chance. Or you can go, you know what, we're going to play a little bit for the future. I'm not sure which way they'll go.
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario. It's kind of reminiscent of what happened to them in 2020, where they were kind of on the verge. You know, if you remember, Madison Bumgarner at that time was the big, hey, are they going to trade him for prospects? But they held on to him. It was Bochy's last season and tried to, you know, see it through. Didn't work out for them. But man, what an interesting... If they do decide to go the way of trading their vet guys for some other pieces... This is a team that led the league in wins last year.
Amazing. The best year the San Francisco Giants have ever had in the regular season. Ever.
Correct. But, you know, we talked about it before the season started, and I think you're finally starting to see the loss of Buster Posey, the loss of Chris Bryant, you know, big names like that. They've had other injury issues, which we knew Brandon Belt would be hurt because he's hurt every year. You know, Longoria is another guy that struggles to stay healthy. When they're healthy, they're good. But again, they've struggled to stay healthy. They've lost some big bats. I'm of the opinion, though, that the roster itself is fairly solid. Jason, they're just missing a bat or two. Like, they really are lacking pop in the middle of that lineup outside of Jock Peterson. And if I'm the Giants and I'm Farhan Zaidi, I'm looking to add. I'm not looking to blow up this team just yet.
Okay. And if you look at where they are now, one more week to go before the break. The wild card race, because they've just been.
They're not winning the division.
No,
they're 12.5 back. They're not winning the division. The Dodgers have been 11-12. The Dodgers are so hot,
and they've been brutal the last 3 weeks. I mean, the Giants were. Remember, I remember going into that series with the Dodgers. It's like, hey, what if the Giants sweep the Dodgers? And they did. But from that point on, they've had, and their schedule was more favorable. They've been brutal lately here. So they're 2 games above 500. But the wild card race, Braves, Padres, Phillies, Cardinals, all ahead of them. They all can't make it. Though the Giants are only 2 out of that third spot. It's just, you know, how aggressive are they going to be? Phillies are one of the teams above them that won't have Harper for a while. Yeah.
Cardinals have Paul Goldschmidt, though, having an MVP type season at age, I think he's 64 years old now.
You still have the Padres ahead, knowing that they're going to get Tatis back. The Braves are the defending champs. There's a window there for the Giants, certainly, but they got to pick a direction, I think, here in this fact that they could either move some of those pieces for future or, to your point, be a little bit more aggressive, try to add a bat and see if that gets them back in the mix.
And I don't just mean add a bat, like add a guy that's going to help. I mean, you need to add again, similar to the Chris Bryant trade at the deadline last year, you need to add a bat that's going to make a huge difference in that lineup. Now, is that bat out there is the other part of it. I always look back, and I'm still calling the Washington Nationals to see how real it is for them if they want to move off Juan Soto. Because if that's the case, and he is out there come the trade deadline, again, I don't know if he will be, you sell the farm for him, right?
Absolutely.
He's just a kid. You have the opportunity to sign him to an extension and make him a player on your roster for the next 10 to 12 years. He's he just fits the culture in San Francisco, I feel like, too.
Yeah, for sure. And that interesting to see what the Giants will do as far as the All-Star game itself. I like the baseball All-Star game. I think it's the one that's the most true to the sport. It is an exhibition, but they play. I mean, they really try to win, and you get the best in the game. I like home run derby. I think baseball. That's probably one of the things they do better than maybe the other sports is their exhibition, their showcase to highlight the sport. The All-Star couple days, I think they do a good job.
Yeah, you get the vibe that people want to be there, right? By people, I mean the players. Interestingly enough, though, this has been debated, and Dave Roberts has really come out and kind of pushing Clayton Kershaw starting at Dodger Stadium has to happen, right?
Yeah. And I like that they added the legends, where there's a spot for
the legacy selections.
Yeah, Cabrera and Pujols. Like, I mean, again, you're honoring greatness, two guys that are, surefire Hall of Famers. You put them in. I just think that's along with the regulars like Trout and all the people that, bets that are always going to be there.
Well, it makes sense too to do it this way because I mean, Major League Baseball has always kind of done it like that. I remember Cal Ripken Jr.'s last year, him, going in and playing in the All-Star game. And I want to say, wasn't it the game where A-Rod said, hey, come start at short and I'll play third base?
Oh, that might have been. Yeah, I think you're right.
You've seen this in the past before, guys that are obviously well past their prime.
Yep.
But especially Cabrera, I think Ozzie Smith, they did it for him too, but Cabrera especially, and then Pujols. Jason, they're already locks to make the Hall of Fame. So it's not like adding them to the All-Star roster is going to be like, oh man, because people look at it like All-Star game. It is factored in when you're looking at Hall of Fame selections, but these guys are already in. So why not give them one last nice, ride out into the sunset, so to speak?
Yeah. And again, I guess we'll say congratulations on the other side to Paul Blackburn. Someone's got to go from the A's, but man, 29 and 58. Is that your slow clap for Paul Blackburn?
Paul Blackburn's had an amazing season. And what's funny is he'll be representing the A's at the All-Star game. I highly doubt he'll be in Oakland A come the trade deadline.
Well, that too. It's like that. I feel like he goes on the list of like random All-Stars, right? I mean, he's been a
A's have
journeyman.
had so many over the years.
Yeah. When you have to get everybody a Pirate or a National or a Red and an A, you're like, okay,
I remember one year the A's sending Ed Sprague to the All-Star.
Oh, as an A? He made it as an A?
He made it as an A. I'm almost positive.
Wow. I do not remember that.
You remember John Jaha?
Yeah. Oh, he made it?
He made it as an A.
Wow. Someone has to, I guess. And congrats to Paul Blackburn and Jock Peterson, the only Bay Area All-Stars this year. All right, we got a 7 o'clock hour coming up. When we start the hour, I had a chance yesterday to talk with Seth Greenberg, former college coach. He's a current college and NBA analyst. He was the analyst for yesterday's Kings and Pacers game. He's got a lot of good things to say about Keegan Murray. You're going to want to hear that conversation. That's coming your way as we start the 7 o'clock hour here from Vegas next.
A revamped website, expanded coverage of the teams you love, more accessible than ever. Where is it? Online at SactownSports.com and on your dial at 1140. This is Sactown Sports 1140.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Melanie Hunter in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's a warmer start in the upper 60s near 70 degrees. That'll lead to another hot day. We'll get sunshine and light wind with daytime highs maxing out in the 101 to 105 range. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
New Kia inventory has been arriving at Folsom Lake Kia. Check out the deals on all the new Kia models. You can even buy with zero down with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia, your family-owned Kia dealership for over 20 years.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Coastside Clinic. Are you struggling with ED and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The wave technology at Coastside Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000. Guys, put a stop to your ED and get your love life back. Call Coastside Clinic now to qualify. 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000.
Hey kids, it's Carmichael Dave talking to you about Capital Casino. Summertime heat is here, and Cap Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, wants to invite all of you to soak up some air conditioning, hang out, have some food, have a beverage. Always the most variety of table games in the region. Always the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Do you know the absolute worst time to find out you've got an AC problem? When the weather outside is scorching, your family is sweating, and the dumb thing won't turn on.
This is Kenny and Jerry from Bell Brothers Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Don't get caught off guard by AC problems. Call us to schedule a precision tune-up and professional cleaning right now.
It only takes 90 minutes and just costs $87. But we'll keep your air conditioner running reliable and strong all season long.
If we discover problems that need attention, we can take care of them now, instead of when you're burning hot and wishing you'd thought ahead.
A Bell Brothers tune-up will also allow your system to last longer, keep your home more comfortable, and lower your energy bills because your system will run more efficiently.
So don't put it off. Call right now and get your precision tune-up and professional cleaning for just $87. Call Bell Brothers at 916-444-1234, or you can find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The PGA Club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Now, you know, when it came to my KFC meal, I had to put some thought into it.
KFC, may I take your order?
So I started off with a warm and toasted brioche bun. Word of advice, do not sleep on brioche buns. They're French and they're fire. Now, for the star of the show, have you ever seen such a beautiful chicken sandwich? You gotta make mine spicy. Add a side of mac and cheese, secret recipe fries, ranch, and an ice-cold lemonade. And there you have it. Check out the new Jack Harlow meal at KFC.
Order ahead or on the KFC app today. Prices and participation may vary.
Dirty exterior? Don't scrub it. Wet it and forget it. Wet and Forget, the easy outdoor cleaner. Wet and Forget works over time with Mother Nature to eliminate unsightly black and green stains on the exterior of your home with no scrubbing, power washing, or bleach. Use Wet and Forget on all your outdoor surfaces, including decks, siding, roofs, and patios. Wet and Forget's available in a concentrate or extreme reach hose-in. Purchase Wet and Forget in store or online at Lowe's, Menards, Ace, or Walmart.
KHTK AM and HD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
It's Sactown Sports 1140. It's the Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom,
with Jason Ross.
Jay, hey, my headset's.
Text or call the show at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sactown Sports 1140.
Here we go. Hour number 2 here from Vegas. Jay Mars back in our studios. Welcome back to Jay. He was off last week. He's back and better than ever. Right, Jay? I'm back in marginal. Yeah.
Just back.
He's
I'm
just
back.
We can confirm that he's back, and we love having Jay back with us. Carmichael Dave is going to join us 1 hour from now as he is recovering and trying to get better from health and safety protocols. This hour is a busy hour for us. We are going to hear from the G-Man, the great G-Man, Gary Gerald. We also have 3 for Madness coming up. We've got a post-game reaction from yesterday's game, a win for the Kings against the Pacers. Summer League coach Jordy Fernandez, Keegan Murray. We'll hear from them. And coming up in just a few moments, my conversation with Seth Greenberg, former college coach, current college and NBA analyst. He was the analyst for yesterday's game. And, Jay, we were talking about Keegan Murray. Here are the numbers for Keegan, which is really, again, I say this when you draft a player, what I look for in whether we have the California Classic or Summer League is, do they belong? And so far, right away, checks that box. And, I'm going to give the outliers on a positive and a negative on the Kings in the past just to help illustrate that. I remember seeing Papagiannis and didn't know a lot about him. Kings drafted him, and Kings got ripped for that. I'm like, well, if that's the guy you want, then that's the guy you want. Go for it. But you also have to live with the consequences. Got here to Vegas, watched him play, and I went, oh, no. I I don't see it, Jay. Like I was like, and obviously we're now done with the results where it just didn't work out. But you go, yikes! I don't see a lot of what the Kings saw in him.
It's very clear, very early on, kind of to the point I think you're trying to make here, that if you can't play in Summer League, you can't play in the NBA.
Right.
Papagiannis is a good example. You know who was a guy I remember? He played for the Kings going into year 5 of his career, and there was this big. He's going to play in Summer League. Remember when Derek Williams played in Summer League after his 4th year? He was on the Kings.
Yeah.
And he just sucked. Like he just wasn't good. He couldn't do anything in Summer League. And it was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And then on the other end, on the positive end, okay, you draft De'Aaron Fox. People are excited about that. I don't know what kind of pro he's going to be when he's out here, but you go, oh my goodness, is he fast?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like people that hadn't seen him, and I was doing the same, like the first time maybe the outlet to him and he goes, you're like, whoa. Like that just totally jumped out. It was eye-popping to see him do. So now Keegan Murray, I don't think you look at him. Now, he's certainly not in the Papagiannis realm by any means, but you watch him and you go, okay, he's in the right spot. He's got good size. I would say, I don't even know if I would call this a negative. The more I watch him, though, I think he can play 3 or 4. I'm not certain he can guard 3s.
Is it because of the foot speed on the perimeter?
Yeah, he's not super slow. It's not that. He's just not as quick out there. And if you're going for like some elite 3s, I think that's going to give him some trouble. But in the same note, like when he's guarding Banchero or some of these other guys, I'm like, you know what? He gets to the right spot, makes some of these plays tough. I like him. I like a lot of the subtleties of his game. And like we said earlier, I think he's going to be a guy that is just better around better players. And he loves it. He seems to work hard. Certainly has that demeanor that you almost want more out of, like, hey, will he ever get a technical? Is he ever going to get mad? Is he ever going to be happy? Like, I think he just plays, and it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about this at the top of the show. When it comes to Keegan Murray, you have a player who I don't think is going to have just these eye-popping numbers. He's not going to be this highlight reel for you. He's just going to be a really good player. And that's kind of what Monty McNair has drafted over 3 years, right? Tyrese Halliburton, really, really good player. Davion Mitchell tracking to be a really good player. I wouldn't put him up there with Tyrese yet. And then you have Keegan Murray, again, another guy tracking to be a really good player. And I think fans get caught up sometimes in wanting to draft that, franchise-changing superstar all the time. And I completely understand that. Who wouldn't want that? But if that's not available, you got to find guys that are going to be really good rotational players in the NBA, starters in the NBA, because they may, as we saw with Tyrese, they may not stick around very long, but they're an asset at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what you want to just keep building that, keep building talent, have assets that you can move and or build around. Here are the numbers for Keegan Murray through 5 Summer League games going back to the California Classic. His average of points is just around, just a little bit over 20. Rebounds are at 7. Assists are a little bit lower than I would like it at 1.5. A steal, half a block. The plus minus has been what's good. He was really good in the plus minus yesterday. I think when he's been on the floor, the team's been 12 points better. Shooting percentage has been good. Didn't have the most efficient game yesterday, but man, he, like the Banchero game, there was a portion of the game where you're like, man, Murray's got 16 points on 4 shots. So he can get to the line. He could do a lot of different things. The jump shot's nice. A lot of good things to like from Keegan Murray. And then the last 2 games, I also think he's picked his spots and gotten more aggressive as the game. Like, I think he reads the game very well. So he just kind of picks his time and has shown up there. But let's get some other perspective on this. Yesterday, I had a chance to catch up with the guy that was the analyst for the game, working with Mark Jones, Seth Greenberg. And here's my conversation with the former coach.
So with Seth Greenberg, you watched, let me start with your broadcast schedule. What's it like here in Vegas for you?
It's been fun. I've done 3 days, 6 games. It's been a lot of fun. Got a chance to work with Jonesy, which is always a treat. Now take the red eye, get home, and do the TBT next week. So it's good to get a chance to see some ball, visit with some friends. It's the great thing about the Summer League is you get a chance to reconnect with people you haven't seen all season, especially for me that I'm so involved with what we're doing in the college game. I don't get out, except for talking to people about players, I don't get that FaceTime with friends that are in the league.
So as you mentioned, you got to call Kings Pacers, Mark Jones doing the game with you. Impressions, let's start with the Kings' top pick, Keegan Murray. What do you think of him? And you obviously knew him well at Iowa.
Yeah, I thought he was terrific. I called efficient and versatile. But what I really liked, and I know the Kings, he's going to make shots. He's an elite jump shooter. But I thought the last quarter he was assertive. And he has the ability to beat people off the dribble. He has the ability to create separation. When he gets into training camp, what people are going to see is he's so good without the ball. He's a great cutter. He uses screens well. And he'll, as they get a better feel for how to use him, he'll even be that much more effective. But very understated, very comfortable in his own skin, extremely skilled, and tremendously efficient.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the game Saturday with a sudden death game. He hits the game-tying three, and it's just blank. No expression, like high, low. I mean, there's not a lot of guys like that, especially this young.
Yeah, Jones is going to work on his smile. The one thing you want to make sure he's enjoying what he's doing. But, no, I think he's very focused, very determined. He's using this as an opportunity. He's learning. You know, he doesn't have all the answers. He doesn't have the answer to the test. But what he does have, he's got skill, and he wants to continue to get better and learn and listen and hear. And you can hear him when he talks and does his interviews in the postgame. You could tell he's saying things that the coaching staff's saying to him. And when you have that situation, you know you're in a good place because he's listening and hearing the people that are coaching him.
For Kings fans that have watched him a little bit, that we get to see him, what do you think of his defense? Because that's an area certainly that's been a huge downfall for the Kings. Do you see him as a defender 4, 3, both positions? Where do you think he is defensively?
Yeah, I think offensively and defensively, where you play him. You know, Coach knows they'll figure out what to do defense. He's going to be solid. He's going to keep the ball in front. He's got good length. He'll be able to contest shots. He'll sit in a stance. Look, in the NBA, it's not individual defense. It's defense. How connected are you? And then how can you play out of rotations? And he's got the length, and he's got pretty good footwork to be able to play out of those rotations. But you've got to have 5 guys connected out of the rotations, and that's obviously the job. They bottom 6 in offensive defensive efficiency. They've got to get better in that year, and I'm sure, obviously, that's one of the reasons Coach Jones is there.
Plug and play. I can picture him with Sabonis, with Fox, with Harrison Barnes, just probably playing better, honestly, with better players around him.
Yeah, I mean, he won't be the focal point. I mean, like when he and Banchero faced off, that was like a one-on-one match. Both of those guys trying to take the other guy out. He's going to be a piece, but he's going to develop into, obviously, a really significant play. You got to remember, 2 years ago, he averaged 7 points a game.
Right.
So, I mean, but he was a dominant player in the Big Ten last year, and he was a player that they rode to a Big Ten championship. So he will take on more and more of the load, obviously, as he gets more comfortable with the NBA.
A couple other guys that probably are going to be on the surface for the Kings. Nimi Keita, who left the game with injury, but a big guy, big rebounder, and Keon Ellis, just an opinion.
I love Keon Ellis. I went and watched Alabama practice last year, and a lot of people went to see J.D. Davison, the explosive guard. I was blown away by Ellis. 10 minutes into the gym, his ability to defend, his ability to rebound the ball, his ability to run, and he's shooting the ball better right now, which is a big part. He has a chance to be a two-way, player on that two-way deal, and I think he'll be good. And I thought Amick was good. I thought he was good. I thought he showed some impact on the game defensively. He hit 3 blocks in a row. Defensive agility is really important in the NBA for bigs, and he showed some defensive ability. And then look, he made a shot, so he stretched defense. I'm not sold at him as a passer, but he did make a couple of decent passes. But I think the Kings G League team did a great job of developing him this past year.
A couple more here with Seth Greenberg. All right, the draft class in general, what do you think? I mean, it seems pretty good, but you would know better. What do you think about the overall class?
Yeah, I think the overall class is good. I mean, we always spend all our time at the top of the draft, which we should, but there'll be players that'll emerge like they always emerge. There'll be second-round guys that, end up getting opportunities or just have good fits. So it's gonna be fun. The thing that people are like, all these guys are so young. They're so young. Fans, I know it's short for fanatic, need to be patient.
Last thing, so much of the conference alignment with college football is I haven't heard a lot of perspective yet on basketball. So UCLA, USC, Big Ten, what Oklahoma and Texas, like what do you make of all that mess?
I think we're going to have 5 conferences eventually. I think we're going to have the ACC, the SEC, the Big Ten, probably some sort of the Big 12 and the Pac-12 coming together. And then you're going to have a non-football playing conference with the Big East schools and maybe the Gonzagas and the St. Mary's and Dayton's and St. Louis. Whether it's good or not, it's the world we're going to live in. I think the NCAA tournament will have the 68 teams, but it'll probably be closer to the 68 best teams. I'm not sure you're going to have as many automatic qualifiers. And that's just speculation. The one thing I would like to see the NCAA do, or at college athletics do, is if a kid puts his name in a draft and doesn't get drafted, he should be able to come back to school. Because you can have an agent now, you can have name, image, and likeness, so that, you're basically, it's paid for play no matter what. Yeah. But if a kid doesn't get drafted, why not bring him back to school so he can finish his education?
Yeah. You miss coaching at all?
Yeah, every day, but I've got a great job.
Yeah, you do. And you do a great job.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Greenberg, hopefully you enjoyed some of the things he had to say. We've got more interviews coming up from people that we talked to in Vegas. You will hear from the G-Man. You will hear from Sam Amick. You're going to hear from Carmichael Dave. We'll have Monty McNair tomorrow. We got lots of stuff coming your way still. We are just getting going. When we come back in about 90 seconds, we're going to have 3 for Madness. 3 questions, 3 answers, all coming up.
Hey, you want easier access to the content you care about? You now have it. Sactownsports.com, a new way of covering the sports you love. A new digital world. The best and most expansive coverage of your local sports. Online at Sactownsports.com.
The PGA Tour is back in Napa Valley with the Fortinet Championship, where fans experience every kind of cheers. Join us September 15th through the 18th at Silverado Resort and Spa for 4 days of world-class golf, Napa hospitality, and 2 nights of unforgettable performances featuring multi-platinum superstar Cole Swindell and Grammy-nominated powerhouse One Republic, all included with your daily ticket. Join Fortinet, Silicon Valley's leader in cybersecurity, at the Fortinet Championship. Secure your tickets now at FortinetChampionship.com.
Our business technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned and managed small business. Local ownership cuts out the red tape while ensuring our staff has the autonomy to make the quick, respectable business decisions necessary to deliver on our promise to always exceed the expectations of our customers. The power of our local family team will help you with your business printing needs. Contact us today at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729. Or visit us at powercopiers.com.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Question 1.
All right, it is time for 3 for Madness. 3 questions, 3 answers. We send it back to the Palatial Studios in Sacramento.
That's right.
For the lovely and talented and faceless at this point on our YouTube, Jay Mars resides. Hi, Jay.
And that's really a shame because I have on my my green shirt that really brings out my green eyes. I'm looking very handsome today, cleanly shaven. As far as my head goes, obviously still have the beard rocking. But yeah, it's unfortunate for the YouTube, but hey, man, can't get everything we want in life, right?
Well, you can't, but we can all wish for it, right?
Yeah, that's what we're all kind of prone to doing.
Yes.
Well,
what do you got for us on our 3 for Madness?
Hey, would you want a retroactive Sacramento Kings Summer League Championship ring, a 2014 and or 2021 version?
Yes!
Maybe a little combo ring.
Well, what I couldn't understand, I mean, honestly, I think it is kind of funny that they're having Summer League Championship rings.
Those are nice looking rings, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't believe it, Jay. I'm like, okay, really? They're going to have rings? And then I saw the rings and went, wow, those are legit. But the Kings have won twice. And of course, they just won last year. And there's still a chance they can. I think they're based the 4-game schedule and the best record. I don't know. Maybe there'll be multiple 4-0 teams, but the Kings can still go 3-1, I guess. But yeah, why not? Retroactive Kings Championship ring, Summer League.
Can I help me out here? If the Kings win this year and they get those rings, do broadcast partners get one as well? No, I'm being serious.
I don't know how they'll do that. I would think in the past, like if they ever won an NBA championship ring, I think we would.
I mean,
broadcast partners.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, and I'm going to dash a lot of fans' hopes. I don't think the NBA championship's on the horizon over the next couple of years.
Jay.
I know.
Not over the air. Don't say that stuff publicly.
Sorry, I have to be an honest broadcaster. That's why I'm here. However, if the Kings won this year and they get the rings, and the Kings came to us because people, just to lay it out here for you, if an organization wins a championship, usually everybody affiliated with it gets one. Not necessarily the one the players get.
Right.
But I remember years ago, I worked at Lids, and it was next door to a Raiders Image. And all the people that worked at Raiders Image every year were like, man, if we win it this year, we get a ring. We get a ring. All I'm saying is, Jason, I would love to have a Summer League championship ring.
Would you wear it?
Yeah, I'd wear it.
You would?
Man, in certain places, you better. I mean, I'm not just going to wear it to the grocery store.
Right.
But if I'm in a certain setting where I'm trying to, again, have a conversation starter, yes, I'm wearing that. I'm going to tell people I played on the team.
To Kings games, that's acceptable. What are other conversation starter places that you're like, okay, I'm choosing to wear the Summer League championship ring?
I mean, anywhere that's
Party?
like a party for sure, formal wedding, you know, again, if I want to stick out, I'm gonna stick out, right?
Oh, for sure.
That's the point. It's a great conversation starter, and then I'm going to lie to people about how I acquired it.
Yeah, they don't need to know how. They just need to know what's this ring all about? What do you got there?
Nobody knows the Summer League roster, so all I have
true.
to do is go pick a random name. So in case people want to look it up, like
say you're Frankie Ferrari.
Honest to God, that was the name I was going to go with too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Frankie Ferrari played on the Kings Summer League team. This is my ring.
Yep.
Who's going to tell me no?
Right. Exactly.
So I'd also take a retroactive one to answer the question.
Okay. All right. Let's go to question 2.
Question 2.
Would men's tennis be even better off if Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal, 3 of the greatest of all time, weren't good guys and hated each other?
I mean, kind of to our point that we brought up earlier, like we have the legends of the sport playing right now, and it hasn't translated into this huge boom for tennis. And like we said, I mean, the Grand Slam winners, they're the top 3 of all time, but they all seem to be like good dudes. And they don't like if we had I don't know, McEnroe and Connors or Borg and Lendl or whatever, all those guys hate each other, but you just felt like there was a true rivalry. And I don't know. They all want to win, but it just seems like they're all good guys.
No, they are. And that's the thing. It's not just that they're all good guys. I think the bigger issue is none of the 3 are very charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no real feeling towards them one way or the other. You just look at all 3 like, wow, they're really good at tennis. But as far as a personality, none of the 3 stick out, good or bad.
Right.
So I don't necessarily think they have to be, or at least one of them has to be a quote unquote bad guy that you hate. They just have to be more charismatic. And I think that's where it really falls. John McEnroe, say what you want about him. Charisma, dude, dripped charisma.
Sure.
And that's really what it comes
does.
And yes, and that's really what it comes down to. It's not whether they're good or bad. It's whether they're charismatic human beings, and none of the 3 of them are.
Yeah, and I think they've been in finals against each other, but like this one they didn't match up. Nadal had to withdraw with the abdominal problem. But if we had another Nadal Djokovic or a Federer Djokovic, Federer Nadal, some combination of getting those guys constantly in the finals, even though usually one of them wins overall a title, maybe they don't always face in the finals, but I don't think it's going to change at this point. They're all so far along into their career. You're just either going to appreciate how great they are, but I don't know that it's translated, like I said, Jay, for whatever reason.
Do you have, and I know because you watch tennis, do you have an emotional connection to either of the 3?
I really am a huge fan of Federer, but it doesn't mean, to the point where Federer loses, I'm a little bummed, but it doesn't, I don't lose sleep over it.
Yeah, that's
like
what
nothing,
I mean.
Nothing more than that.
There's no real, again, and I think that comes down to a charismatic or a charisma issue, is nobody really has emotional attachments to these guys, at least in the States.
Yeah.
And again, you look at, and this is very common. You see it like with UFC all the time, for instance, right? You need characters that have charisma. They draw the audiences. It's not always about talent.
And as much as maybe if you hate someone. So like, we say it a lot in the NFL or your rivalry, I say all the time, I love UCLA. And part of my joy on the weekend is if they win. The second part, Jay, is if USC loses.
Right.
Like I get as much of a joy out of that. Kings fans love it when the Kings win. Oh, the Lakers lost or they missed the playoffs. That's a great joy. Where, I like Federer the best of the 3, but I have no ill feelings to the other 2.
But you go back again, use your Kings Lakers example, or for you, UCLA, USC. There is an emotional attachment to both teams. It's just different where your emotions are.
Right.
Again, you're a UCLA fan. Obviously, that's going to be your number 1 priority. But you also have an emotional attachment to USC, and it's where you can't stand them.
Right.
So again, I think it comes down to charisma. I think it comes down to an emotional attachment, and none of those 3 guys have it.
All right, let's get our final question on 3 for.
Question 3.
If Shohei Ohtani picked one to either be a pitcher or a hitter, what would he be better at? That's a tough one.
I'm leaning hitter, but I
am too, but I'm actually going pitching. I was
Why?
leaning hitter.
Okay.
I think if Shohei Ohtani was just a pitcher, he's already dominant. But if that was his sole focus, solely focused on that, I mean, we're talking about the dude being a constant Cy Young winner if healthy, right?
Yeah, and I guess, to your point, if he really locked in on that, that might improve more than I don't know that his hitting's going to improve if he dumped pitching.
Yeah, I don't think
he's
so
already
either.
a great hitter, and I don't know that we're going to see a difference in average, in home runs, in RBI. Like I think he is who he is as a hitter. Pitching, there might be some subtleties that get him a little bit better if he just locked in there.
Yeah, and that's just it. So I think if he picked the one of the two, it would definitely be pitching. I think if that were the case, he would be locked in. I think we'd be talking about him as a constant Cy Young candidate just based upon that.
And
Based upon just simply focusing on it.
Yeah, he made the All-Star team as both spots. And last year he started, which was really cool, and batted. And he gets attention, but I still don't think he gets enough for what he is doing to this sport. Like Babe Ruth is legendary, as he should be, but Shohei Ohtani's doing it better in a different way. Like, not the overall numbers, but he's been a better pitcher, more dominant pitcher than Babe Ruth. And then offensively, it's amazing what he's doing. And I just think the game is better, too, more difficult than it was back then.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can't even compare him and Babe Ruth just based upon that sole fact. But it's interesting how you're talking about Ohtani changing the game and everything he's done in the impact. One, it just goes to, again, point out just how badly marketing MLB is with their stars. They just can't market if their life depended on it. Number two, how long do you think he can hold this up where he is doing both positions at the level he's doing?
Yeah.
Because I think that's, to me, the big question mark. Like baseball, especially when you talk about the Hall of Fame, it's so much based on longevity and numbers. I wonder, is a guy like Shohei Ohtani, let's say he does this for like 5 straight seasons. Is that Hall of Fame worthy given just how much he's doing in such a little time?
I would say so. The Hall of Fame is so much about longevity and doing those numbers over years,
right?
But 5 years is a really good sample, and to be exciting, excelling at both is pretty phenomenal.
No, and that's the thing. He excels at both, and that's why I wonder, because I just don't think he can do that for like 10 to 12 seasons.
Right.
It just seems out of this world. But if he can do it for 4 or 5, normally a guy that has a like 4 or 5 year stint where they are great doesn't make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But I think this is different just based upon the fact that he hits and pitches and he does it at this level.
It's impressive. I mean, it's been really impressive what he's been able to do. All right. When we come back, we're going to get back into the Kings and the Pacers yesterday. Fun game, too. Not like the sudden death, amazing game we saw Saturday, but a good finish by the Kings. We got some reaction from Keegan Murray and from Jordy Fernandez. We'll have that still to come. The G-Man, Carmichael Dave, Sam Amick. Lots more to get to as we continue right here. Back with more right after this.
Sactown Sports 1140 is broadcasting live on YouTube.
To me, it's a must-watch.
Check out the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross and the Cattles and Rami Show. Plus, get exclusive content. Search Sactown Sports 1140 on YouTube.
Near the banks of the Sacramento River, Perry Dye of the famous Dye family of golf architects designed Bartley Kavanaugh Golf Course as Sacramento's #1 course for fun. Dye's design and mixture of holes assures players of a fun-filled day with friends. Bartley Kavanaugh's moderately sized greens and generous fairway landing areas make for an affordable and fun round of golf. After golf, relax on the outdoor veranda with a cold beverage or a tasty meal. For tee times, visit BartleyKavanaugh.com. It's Sacramento's #1 course for fun. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, let Safe Credit Union put you first. Well, that phrase is honest, genuine, and sincere. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa for Safe Credit Union. At Safe, you're not a number. You are part of a member-owned, community-focused family. Explore the benefits of saving, borrowing, and investing with a partner who puts you first. Safe Credit Union is insured by NCUA.
Hi, I'm Flo from Progressive. Being a baseball fanatic like me can be stressful. It's not all sports points and touchdowns. So Progressive is going to help you take your mind off your team for a moment. Instead of thinking about how they missed that goal point score, think about the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, letting you choose coverage options based on your budget, unlike your team that missed the end zone net area. Well, anyway, hope this distraction about Progressive's Name Your Price tool was helpful. It sure kept me from thinking about all those penalty balls. Yay, sports!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. At Lowe's, every pro is an MVP to us. That's why we're introducing MVP's bonus points to our rewards and partnership program. It's the only pro loyalty program where you can earn points just by downloading our app or shopping select items by trusted brands and more. Then redeem your points for rewards that level up your business. Join MVP's Pro Rewards today and earn your first 1,000 points. MVP's Pro Rewards program subject to program terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/L/pro loyalty terms. Subject to change.
Broadcasting live from the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Brought to you by Power Business Technology. Visit them at powercopiers.com.
Jason Ross, Jay Mars, back here. Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross here on Sactown Sports 1140. Thank you for joining us here this morning. Lots of you checking us out on YouTube. Thank you. We make that work from our different locations. We're coming to you from Las Vegas. We already heard from Seth Greenberg, the G-Man. Gary Gerald coming up in our next segment. Had a chance to talk to the G-Man. He's out here checking in and taking all the games as well. As we said, if you get a chance to come to Vegas, I think for any basketball fan, this is really an awesome setup to see the games between the two gyms. You're obviously in the comfortable air conditioning for the 2 games between the two gyms. It's hot out here. I mean, I know it's hot in Sacramento today. I think it's again 114, 115 today here in Vegas, but it's a unique experience to be around all these basketball fans. One, but two, you just get to see so many different executives, GMs, coaches, fans. 50 Cent at the game yesterday, Jay?
Yeah, saw 50 shockingly hanging out with Vivek.
Yes.
And then I think some of the Kings players got a picture in with him as well.
Yeah.
And then you mentioning that you were just randomly, around Bano Udrih and Darius and Singila.
Yep, those kind of things happen. Here's another random one. The Kings played their game. They were first yesterday in Cox Pavilion. And then there was a second game right after that. I think it was maybe Chicago, Detroit, something like that. I went back into the gym to see if I could talk to one, Mark Jones, and two, Seth Greenberg. Got Seth Greenberg, and Mark might be with us later in the week. They called the Kings game. But, Jay, I was telling you, Cleveland, I can't remember who Cleveland was playing, maybe Toronto, something like that. But I kept hearing all this commotion in the gym, and I could hear, when you hear a rim snap, someone's dunking. And then I finally stopped to look. I go, what is going on over here? And Cleveland was going through their layup line, and they're regular Summer League Cavaliers players, but then there was a guy that really stood out to me, and it was Myles Garrett, and the Cleveland Browns edge rusher, who's just a dominant defensive player. He was wearing a Summer League Cleveland jersey, had his name Garrett on the back. He was wearing regular shorts, so he wasn't going to play, but he was in the layup line, and he was going there and dunking and oohing and awing the crowd, and then just physically, he's just built differently than NBA. I mean, NBA guys are kind of streamlined and sleek and still strong, but we're talking about a different kind of strength. The arms were massive and gargantuan, but he's up there dunking and ripping the rim down. It was pretty amazing to watch.
Yeah, and Myles Garrett, obviously edge rusher body, a little different than NBA player body.
Yes.
But you're saying he's only 6'2" or 6'3", so he must have had some massive hops.
Oh, he's got some bounce. I should look at his height because I don't know that he's that much bigger than that. I mean, he's not small, but I mean, you can be around guys that are 7 feet tall out here. He's 6'4".
He's 6'4", okay.
270.
Jeez. That dude must just be 6'4", length and width then.
Yeah, he's massive, and it was amazing. It was amazing to watch him do that. So amazing to watch Keegan Murray as well, get his NBA legs under him, trying to figure it out. Played a lot of games here, really. The Kings played the California Classic, then had back-to-back games. They won't play again until Wednesday here in Las Vegas. But want to hear first from Summer League coach Jordy Fernandez. I think he's done a nice job. We're going to hear a quick cut from him talking about what he sees in Keegan Murray.
He doesn't fight the fight, which is really good and very impressive to see at his age. Finds the way in an efficient way. Like yesterday, I thought somebody said that he was not efficient at almost 50%, but I completely disagree. He's a very efficient player on everything he does. I think today he didn't start rebounding very well. And yeah, he didn't rebound very well, but everything else he makes a simple play. If he has to pass the ball, he can do that. It's not a guy that's going to hold it and just not pass it. So he does that for us, and then it benefits everybody.
Yeah, I just want to hear that first part there, Jay, because he used that term both days, Jordy did, and he doesn't fight the fight. And I know what he means by that. Like, he's not rattled. There were moments like there was a lot of people on Saturday there to watch Keegan Murray versus versus Paolo Banchero. And Paolo had some great highlights. I mean, he gets a steal, does a 360 dunk, had a nice baseline dunk. And Keegan's like, all right, 2 points. Like, I'm going to the other end. And that doesn't mean, okay, my turn. I'm going to go score on him because I got to answer. He just goes in the flow of the game. And if that means he scores 8 points in a row or doesn't score for a quarter, it's just the way he plays. And I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, it's kind of like he's not a roller coaster. That's the best example I could use just watching him already in just a couple games. He kind of flatlines, right? He doesn't really show emotion one way or the other. And you brought it up earlier in the show when he hit that game tying 3 against Orlando with, very little time remaining. Everybody, all his teammates on the side are going nuts. Kings players, like not Summer League guys, I mean actual players, going nuts. The stands are going nuts. He's like emotionless, just looking to pick up the next defender or the next guy to defend, excuse me.
Yeah. And in a league that's filled with trash talkers, I don't know. I'm sure it'll happen. Someone will get under his skin, but that's going to take work.
Yeah.
To rattle him in that way.
No, and that's just, again, it's something where we haven't really been used to seeing here in Sacramento is a guy playing with that much poise. Tyrese Halliburton, I think, was actually one of those guys.
I think Barnes does that a little bit.
Yeah, but going back to Tyrese shows emotion, one way or the other. Tyrese is a super emotional guy. Keegan Murray's not. And let me take that back. I don't know if Keegan Murray's emotional. He just doesn't show it on the court.
Right. But I think he's got a good perspective of what he's doing, what he's learning. I wanted you guys to hear this, his kind of post-game conversation yesterday. You'll hear some questions peppered his way, but it's the rookie and how he's feeling, how he thinks he's played, how he thought he played yesterday, his overall experience here. Here's a couple minutes with Keegan Murray.
Yeah, I think it was really good for us, especially when they made the run and we were able to execute down the stretch. So it was a good win. Glad we got one after the last one for sure.
Talking about that last one, what was it like hitting that game-tying bucket at the end of regulation? What does that do for your confidence?
Yeah, no, it was a cool experience. Just knowing that I'm able to execute down the stretch and be able to keep my composure down the stretch. But at the end of the day, we tied it, so it wasn't a game-winning shot or anything like that. So it was just trying to keep my composure for the overtime.
What's this opportunity been like for you to play against some of these other top lottery picks in back-to-back days here?
Yeah, I think it's a good experience for me. Just being able to get my feet under myself again, just being able to play 5-on-5 live action, play against really, really good players. So it's been good for me and my confidence, and just ready to take everything into consideration. So
what impressed with you with how you guys played battling through adversity today?
Yeah, I think they made runs, we made runs, and I think the big thing for us is that we executed down the stretch, and we were able to do different things, switch different lineups, and guys were able to have confidence and hit shots and get stops.
Keegan, when you go back and you look at film, how critical are you of yourself and what you do, and what's one of the first couple things you look at that hope stands out on tape?
Yeah, I'm never ever satisfied in what I do on the court. I always know that I can get better. I know that I have a lot of room of improvement right now, and for me, I just try and nitpick little things I do offensively, little things I do defensively, and I watch film a lot with the guys with the Kings, plus some league coaches. So it's been good to see myself on film and learn from it.
Of those nitpicks, what are some of the ones that you've identified already?
Yeah, just different reads on offense, being able to find the guys in the corner, things like that, and being able to defensively, the rotations, different techniques, things like that, just to make myself better defensively.
It seems like you've kind of been starting slower and then getting better as the game's going on. What's your read? Am I off, or are you noticing that?
No. For me, I just want to see what's going on in the game. I know that, especially this game, we had a lot of guys going early. Frankie hit a lot of threes early, and at that point, I just want to get a feel for the game and keep feeding the hot hand. And the hot hand wasn't me at that point, but I was just able to they were able to get the ball in my hands down the stretch, and I was able to take over the game in the fourth.
What have you learned about Amick on and off the court? What's he like to be around?
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. Just to be around, a guy that I've really connected with off the court, and on the court, I feel like he's just scratching the surface of what he can be. Athletic, being able to. There's a sequence where you block 2 shots in one possession, so you could just see the what he can be. And I feel like he's just got a lot more improvement. He's really good right now too.
about your pace. You've been playing at a great pace. Never sped up. And also your rebounding. I mean, it's similar to college. You get almost double-digit rebounds each game up until today. Just talk about those things.
Yeah, I know that I can affect the game in different ways. Today, I felt like I didn't get as many rebounds, but I affected a lot of the rebounds. That was tip outs or anything like that. I feel like I affected it. It doesn't show up on the stats or anything like that. But for me, I just try to keep my composure. When the game's riled up, just stay composed, stay at my pace. And I know that good things will happen eventually.
Looking back at yesterday, was that about one of the most kind of wild experiences you've had on the basketball court?
I think it was up there. Yeah. Just the atmosphere, just down the stretch, what was occurring. So I think that was a really cool experience to have, especially just going to the NBA and going into those atmospheres. So for me, I feel like that was a really fun game.
And that experience against Paolo, just what did you make of that matchup for you? That you mentioned how it was kind of the first time for you.
Yeah, it was. He's a really good player. So for me, I just want to put my best foot forward, and he made tough shots. I made tough shots, but we're both competitors. And on the court, we fought, and I think that was really cool and a really big thing for us and just our competitive nature.
Keegan, you've gone from the draft to California Classic. Now here you've got a bunch of games. How's the grind part of things going for you? Are you starting to feel that a little bit? I missed it, if anything. I feel like that I just missed the grind of playing a lot of games, practicing all the time. I just missed that grind, and right now I'm just having fun is the biggest thing right now.
All right, so many different things to take note of. I was rewriting out some of the things that, just hearing it again when it happened, I'm just impressed with him, Jay. I think, he playing against Matherin yesterday, against Paolo Banchero the other day. I mean, Sports Center and everybody, number 4 versus number 1, number 4 versus number 6, and Keegan's like, I'm just playing. Like I don't look at it like I'm trying to. He wants to beat Paolo Banchero, but he just wants to beat the Orlando Magic, and he wants to beat the Indiana Pacers. I don't think he looks at it that way. He's talking about trying to get better defensively. Yesterday, he referenced, I kind of started slowly because, man, everybody else was hitting threes. Rodin and Ferrari and all these other guys are hitting a bunch of threes early. He's like, well, we got it going. I don't need to do anything.
Right.
But there he was at the end. And the thing that I liked the best, too, that he said, and he's very right on this, and I think he's just so cognizant of his game. He didn't have a lot of rebounds yesterday. I remember looking at it, man, he doesn't have the boards. There was 2 plays I remember late where he literally could not get it, but he tipped it to someone else. And you go, that's just the right play again. Like, he doesn't get the stat, but I went, that was a winning play. And I think that's what he's about, which I like.
And how many times have we said it over the years? The Kings just have guys that don't make the right play.
Right.
They don't do it. And listening to that post-game scrum, if you didn't know any better, Jason, and someone said, just listen to this audio clip, we're not going to tell you who it is.
Yeah.
Would you have said that's a rookie or an 8-year vet?
Yeah, a vet. Totally a vet. Right?
Yes.
And not even a rookie. Like, a rookie that hasn't played an NBA game. These are just summer league.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's poised. I think he's experienced. He's NBA ready. And again, I like him with other players, other starting caliber NBA players. I think he's going to fit in just beautifully. But we're going to get more perspective on what others think about him, including the great G-Man, Gary Gerald. He's out here in Vegas. Talked to him yesterday. You're going to hear that conversation next.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports 1140. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people that play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports 1140. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility, and Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Rate and the purchase markets are doing this thing and that thing. Shelby, as I always say, you're the captain of the ship that gets everybody through those waters. What's going on over at United Wholesale Lending?
We are heavily focused on purchase business right now.
This is the time of year, I know. You would think more people go and see houses, but how is that working as opposed to rates scaring people? Are we still seeing that huge influx of people going out there?
Well, there's some more inventory that's coming onto the market, and the market is shifting from a seller's market to a buyer's market. Even with the interest rates going up, now the market is kind of softening up and making it easier for home buyers to get their offer accepted and also to get a better deal.
You can pre-approve them on the phone in under 15 minutes without even running their credit. But what you also do is you give them the exact things they need to knock out personally so that they can get into homes.
That's exactly right. We create a roadmap to get them in the position to buy a house.
RefinanceWithShelby.com. That's refinance betwithtshelby.com. NMLS number 2795051. BRA number 01864354.
At Folsom Lake Honda, in addition to great prices on new Hondas, we stock the best selection of quality pre-owned vehicles, and each one of those vehicles is priced to sell now.
With new cars in high demand, Folsom Lake Honda has a great selection of quality one-owner trades with low miles, and each is priced to sell now. Every used vehicle on the lot comes with a Carfax Vehicle History Report and has passed a safety inspection. Shop our entire selection at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Did you know about 1/3 of our lives are spent sleeping? Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. If we're going to spend that much time in our bedrooms, then our bedrooms ought to reflect our personalities. I remember many weekend mornings when our kids would jump into our beds trying to coax us to start our days more on their schedules than ours. Naturewood Home Furnishings' huge bedroom sale is here, and there's no better time to find the perfect accent piece for your bedroom, or even better, to start fresh by designing your bedroom to fit your lifestyle. From a new mattress and foundation to dressers to nightstands to lamps and more. Naturewood Home Furnishings will help you create a space from simple to luxurious and anything in between. Just drop by and let Naturewood's team help you envision a bedroom fit for 1/3 of your life. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable bedroom sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water reel.
Greetings, Sacramento, and everyone listening to KHTK. It's Doug Christie here with the Good Feet store asking, when was the last time you did something nice for your feet? If you're like most people, your feet get attention only when there's a problem. That can mean something painful, maybe real painful, like plantar fasciitis. That was me. I counted on my feet to make a living, but ignored them until almost too late. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet store, got my free personalized fitting and test walk, and in 20 minutes, I left with my expertly fit Good Feet 3-step arch support system. The pain was no more, and my feet have never felt so comfortable. I'm a Good Feet believer, and you can be too. Come in for a free fitting and test walk. Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, and Modesto. Online at goodfeet.com.
When there is trouble in the bedroom, it can hurt more than just your confidence. It can hurt your marriage or dating life. Not knowing if you'll be able to perform at any moment doesn't help either. Pacific Men's Clinic can help. Go to the clinic that specializes in one thing, making your love life the best it can be by solving the problem at its source. Pacific Men's Clinic's non-invasive procedure. It's safe and pain-free. Call 916-545-7577 for your free consultation now. That's 916-545-7577.
Broadcasting live from the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas, it's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Brought to you by Power Business Technology. Visit them at powercopiers.com.
As we roll along here from Las Vegas, Jason Ross here. Jay Mars back in Sacramento at our Sactown Sports 1140 studios. Carmichael Dave is going to join us at the top of the hour.
We think.
We're going to check in to see. Have you heard from him yet?
Nope.
Uh-oh. And he said, all he's doing is sleeping and recovering. Like his schedule is totally out of whack.
So nothing's changed.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't love Vegas. I know he's not.
Can I tell you this text message I sent to him yesterday?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me pull it up.
Because I know this isn't a ruse. I know he doesn't love coming out here, but he certainly is under the weather.
I texted him yesterday at 6:00. How are you feeling? I didn't realize that you hate going to Vegas so much that you'd contract COVID to get out of going. So we're on the same wavelength there, friend.
Yes, first time ever for him. So he's down and out, but he's getting better. What did he say he was yesterday? About 70%?
That's what he said. We'll figure if if we get him to hop on here around 8, and if he can go 2 segments, we'll definitely be the judge of that.
Being out here, as we said, one of the many perks is you just get to see different people, different spots. I love seeing people around other people, and in Sacramento, how beloved the G-Man is. Out here, like everybody that sees him just loves him too. It's so cool. Like just different other NBA front office types, or when he walks up to Tyrese Halliburton, gives the G-Man the hug. Like everybody loves G-Man. As they should, Jay. He's just a legend.
Yeah, no, he is when you think about iconic figures in Sacramento sports over the last, 40 years, he's top 3, right?
Oh, for sure.
Of like recognizable face, name, all of that.
Yeah, and the likability, he's out here having fun, enjoying basketball, much like his son, Bob Gerald, who I think we'll have on later this week as well, is a hoops junkie. Like, they just both, they came to watch the Kings, but I think on Saturday, G-Man said, oh, yeah, I watched like 4 games. Like, he just stayed in the gym, and he goes, I want to watch Chet and, Chet and Jabari, just a hoops junkie, and I appreciate that he just loves basketball.
It's a great sport, and G-Man's not a spring chicken.
Right.
But he's a summer chicken because he's out there in Vegas.
Look at you.
Oh, man.
Look at you.
Probably just get to G-Man before I make any more jokes like that.
All right. Well, let's do it. I had a chance to catch up with him right after the game yesterday.
All right. Here with the voice of the Kings, the G-Man, Gary Gerald. G-Man, you've now seen the Kings play 2 Summer League games here in Vegas. Just an overview of what you've seen from Sacramento.
I like the effort that are seeing, and I like the execution at various times. It's typical Summer League, of course, but really impressed with Keegan Murray and what he brings to the floor. I've been so impressed with not only his skills, but his temperament, and the fact that he just, like the second game with the victory over Indiana, I thought was a perfect example. It looked like the Kings were on the ropes. They didn't have Keita in the middle in the second half because of a calf injury. They're down 6, and the game's slipping away from them. And then Ferrari and Keegan kind of get together, and they carry the team in the last 4 minutes, and it was just such a difference. And I've really been impressed at his consistency of play and the fact that he seems to be unruffled. And I think, Jason, the thing that I like the most is he looks like he belongs. And I'm anxious to see what it's going to be like when he plays with top-tier type players, when he's alongside a Sabonis and a Fox and a Davion Mitchell, etc.
Yeah, does it feel like to you, G-Man, that Monty's kind of developing a type of player that he likes, whether that's Halliburton and Mitchell and now Keegan, guys that are experienced, that are pretty good people, a chip on their shoulder, but a healthy chip, and just looks like they all get how to play basketball.
Well, I think you're absolutely spot on, and that's one of the things that's so encouraging. And you talk to different people, be it a Mark Jones or a Katie Christensen on the broadcast side. You talk with members of the coaching staff, of Doug Christie, of Bobby Jackson, some of the new coaches. You talk with Alvin Gentry, who of course is a previous interim head coach of the Kings, and there seems to be this universal feel that there's legitimate optimism. And the shooting acquisition, when you throw in a Malik Monk and when you bring in Herter from Atlanta, these guys are legitimate deep perimeter threats that I think is going to help space the floor. And every word that I've heard from Mike Brown has been right on target as far as I'm concerned. And I know talk is cheap, and it's summer and it's summer league, etc. But when you're talking about accountability, as he does, when you talk about the need to have a soul within the organization, not only the team, but all the various departments, I think it's absolutely what Sacramento needs. And I was talking with Mark Jones yesterday about the fact that he was almost giddy, kind of optimistic about what he's seeing. And we were kind of commiserating and saying, but you have to be careful. You can't be too giddy in public because they look scornfully, well, this team hasn't made the playoffs in 16 years, and all the things that we know, and all of the areas where the teams need so much help. But I think there's this sense that something special is starting to fall into place. Now, I caution that because in the Western Conference, as we all know, the Lakers aren't going to struggle the way they struggled last year. The Clippers are going to be so much better. You look at what's going on in Minnesota, and you go right through all the different teams in the West. It's not going to be easy. That's for sure. But it's encouraging, and I think legitimately encouraging.
So obviously it seems like they've addressed shooting. We like what we see with Keegan Murray. Let's go to the defense. Do you think, is that a Mike Brown assignment? Have they added enough defensively, in your opinion, to, because that's an area that obviously has to get better?
Well, yeah, we all know it has to get major league better, not just incrementally better, but they got to take a big step. And I think everybody knows that. And I flash back to the news conference when Mike Brown was introduced, and he was talking about the accountability and the soul. And De'Aaron Fox was among 4 or 5 players that were there at the news conference, as you saw, and he's over against the wall. And Mike Brown makes reference to the fact that, I had some history with him when he was playing high school ball and one thing or another, and we all know that he's got to step up defensively. I mean, he basically put him on the spot under the public scrutiny in a news conference, and De'Aaron kind of rolls his eyes and nods his head as if, I know that. And so those are things that I see as encouraging. And the different people you talk to who've been around Mike Brown, he's a stickler for detail. Nobody's going to outwork him in terms of preparation. Can the chemistry come together? I love seeing in the first game in Vegas 5 Kings along the baseline led by Sabonis, and Herter is there, and Davion Mitchell, Chimezie Metu, etc. And this is where it starts in terms of that chemistry, that extra effort, I think. So again, I find it encouraging, and I think that, defensively, if the Kings are going to have success, they've got to be a whole lot better defensively. And Summer League, it's hard, I think, to get an accurate gauge, but in the 2 games that we've seen thus far here in Vegas, we've seen the Kings really working hard on some defensive schemes. And of course, the big comeback in that double overtime loss was sensational. And it was defensive execution in the final 4 minutes of regulation that got him in a position to possibly win the game.
I know we all come out here in the Summer League. I think everybody's kind of figured it out. It's a gem to come out here to watch all this basketball. But that game Saturday was as good as, that was really entertaining. That finish was a miracle.
It was a classic.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime, the Kings are down 18 in that second half, and I don't know at one point what the minutes were. They're still down 16.
I think it was 16 with just under 3.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. I mean, it's like the Minnesota game a few years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, those are really rare when you see that happen. But the way that, a big crowd, Thomas and Mack Center, everybody's engaged. It was just, there was an emotion and a feeling that you just don't get for Summer League games. And it was a Summer League classic. I think several of us have talked about, is that the best Summer League game we've ever seen? Well, it's doggone close to being number 1 if it's not number 1.
And for anybody that hasn't done this experience, that has come out here, that's a basketball fan like yourself, what would you say to about the Vegas Summer League experience?
It continues to get bigger and better. I marvel at what I've seen. And, because of COVID the last couple of years, I wasn't able to be here, and there wasn't Summer League action. And to see all 30 teams involved, this is a gathering point. You turn a corner in the arena, in the hotels, you don't know who you're going to run into. But the big names, from the owners, the general managers, the personnel people, former officials, you see Joey Crawford here, you see Eddie Everett, you see different people, and this is the place to be if you're a basketball junkie or a basketball fan. And it's amazing to me that what the impact that this Summer League has on the city of Las Vegas. It's the real deal. And even now, we joke about it. Championship rings going to the champs this year. Too bad the Kings didn't collect on that last year, because the renderings have been, honest to goodness, they are beautiful championship rings for Summer League. Who would have thought?
We need to get you a real one, and the city of Sacramento. For the regular. They're on their way, but I can tell you're excited, though, about this season.
Well, I am, and I didn't know if I would be. And sometimes you get a little cynical, and you say, we've been down this road so many different times. We've, coaching merry-go-round once again and trying to find a comfort zone and develop a rapport with all the new pieces. It's an ongoing process, but it's fun to have some legitimacy to your excitement and to your expectations. Now just keep everybody healthy and get off to a good, strong start and let it build and roll on that.
Well, thank you, G-Man. We'll see you soon on the first Kings broadcast of the year.
If we don't see you on the golf course before that.
All right, the great G-Man Gary Gerald, getting some perspective from him on what he's seen in the first 2 games from the Kings in Las Vegas. Still to come in the next hour, Sam Amick, but when we come back, we will check in with Carmichael Dave. We'll do that next.
You wanted more Kings coverage? You've got it. More Niners, more Raiders, more NFL coverage than anywhere else in Sacramento. The best and most expansive coverage of your local sports. Sactown Sports 1140.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave talking about my friends at American Energy. $49 tune-up offer. I did it 2 weeks ago. You should do it too. It's only $49 for an air conditioning tune-up, and you get a free indoor air quality test. Oh, it's so simple. Call today to schedule your appointment with my local friends at American Energy at 916-520-9990. Catch the 916 there, 520-9990. A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. Been around since 81. Go to AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Hi, guys. It's Andrew with Coastside Clinic. Are you struggling with ED and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The WAVE technology at Coastside Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000. Guys, put a stop to your ED and get your love life back. Call Coastside Clinic now to qualify. 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed small business. Local ownership cuts out the red tape while ensuring our staff has the autonomy to make the quick, respectable business decisions necessary to deliver on our promise to always exceed the expectations of our customers. The power of our local family team will help you with your business printing needs. Contact us today at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729. Or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
KHTK AM and HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the flagship station of your Sacramento Kings. It's Sactown Sports 1140. It's the Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
Jay, hey, my headset's
Text or call the show at 916-339-1140. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports 1140.
All right, here we go to start the final hour of this Monday edition of the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Good to have Jay Mars back. And I'm being told that we have confirmation that we have Carmichael Dave, some version of him, back with us. Good morning, Carmichael Dave. Are you there? Jay, I'm not hearing Carmichael Dave if he's there. Oh, all right, we got to adjust. We'll get Carmichael Dave here going because we did have confirmation that he was there. He's at home. As you know, he's been out with COVID, health and safety protocols there, try to get better, sounding better. I've yet to hear him yet, but hopefully we will get the smooth sounds of Carmichael Dave here in a moment. Still to come in this hour, too. I had a chance. We already heard from Seth Greenberg, from the G-Man, Gary Gerald, and Keegan Murray. We're also going to hear from Sam Amick. Sam is going to be heading out from Vegas here pretty soon back home, and then they're going on a European vacation. So normally we have Sam at the end of the week on a Thursday, but no Sam this week. So thought I'd catch up with him. He watched the Kings for a couple days. We'll get some NBA perspective, but certainly his thoughts on Keegan Murray and what's going on out here. Because as we said, kind of the big talking point out here is Kevin Durant. What is going to happen with him? That's kind of the next shoe to drop. And we're going to learn more about what the rest of the league is doing. There is some talk this morning about, at least from Brian Windhorst was reporting, that DeAndre Ayton and the Indiana Pacers could be working out something that could happen as soon as today. So if we get any more details on that before the end of the show, certainly we will pass that along. But you do get a sense that a lot of people out here are not only watching these rookies, but trying to figure out what is next for Kevin Durant. Most teams aren't going to be players directly in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes, but if a third team is needed, they want to maybe be available to be that third team. So we shall see ultimately what happens there. But I think a lot of people are in the wait and see mode. And still, you've got the Kyrie Irving situation. He's out here as well. Could he be a Laker before long? Who knows? I mean, these are things that are all being worked on, I would say, behind the scenes. So, Jay, what's our status with Mr. Carmichael Dave? Okay, we're working on a couple things to get everything situated there, which we will. There's a lot of moving parts. We got two people remotely from different locations while Jay is back in the studio, so we'll get that all sorted out. A couple other things going back to last hour that we discussed, and I'm getting good feedback too from those that are texting in. We appreciate that. 916-339-1140. Also, those of you that are watching us constantly on the YouTube, a couple of texts have come in. Murray is in the Elton Brand, LaMarcus Aldridge class, in my opinion. Well, that's a pretty good class to be in. Murray is like Harrison Barnes on the court. We received that as well. I've been impressed. People have said Tim Duncan. As far as, I think that's more the demeanor. I think when you watch him, certainly I think where his above average skill sets are in shooting. I mean, he can shoot. I think that's good. I think just adding the shooting that the Kings have done, and Keegan Murray, certainly Malik Monk is an efficient shooter. Kevin Huerter can shoot a little bit. I think having Terrence Davis back as healthy will help. I know Fox and Sabonis have been working on their jumpers. Barnes can be an efficient shooter. Monty really did a good job of addressing shooting. I think they're deeper than they've been. I still look at this team, and I feel like there still can be some additions in that 3-4 area. And they may be deeper bench guys, but I think they need to look at that. Also, a lot of the reports out here, and saw those guys at the game on Saturday. I don't think I saw them yesterday, but seeing Matthew Dellavedova, Quinn Cook, Shabazz Muhammad, those are guys apparently that the Kings are working out for potentially additional roster spots. And I get the understanding and the belief that the Kings may feel they need a third point guard. I don't know if I'm entirely in that camp. I mean, look, you can. Maybe it's a G League player if need be, even though, that kind of gets into a sense of desperation. Maybe you can sign someone during the season. But I feel like Davion can play the backup, certainly. I think you can put Huerter, others, to handle the ball if you're in a pinch. But Dellavedova, why not kick the tires on him, and certainly on Quinn Cook to see what they can provide. I did not know, to be honest with you, that Shabazz Muhammad was still playing. And so we'll see where the Kings ultimately go on any of those guys or what other additions. They don't have a ton of money left. Most of their moves have been made. They still could be involved in trades, though not hearing a lot about that at the moment. And so we'll see. We'll see ultimately where the Kings go there. A few other things, a few other notes that we mentioned about Keegan Murray, observations, some of the stuff that we like, that we've seen. I think that is, and you guys certainly let me know on our YouTube chat if you're checking in there, or on our text line, your impressions of Keegan Murray. I like the fact that one of the last cuts that we played from his scrum in the post game was that he missed the grind. Like you kind of go through so much to get ready for the draft. You get drafted, you have to change cities. It's a whirlwind. You got to figure out where you're going to live. You bring your family out here, press conference. Oh, wait, boom, now I'm into it. Now I'm going to play in the California Classic. I'm heading to Vegas. Believe it or not, his first trip ever to Vegas. And then, this is what he does. And this is what he does best, is play basketball. going through practices, going through film work, going through the games, learning about his strengths and weaknesses, learning about other NBA players, going through those matchups. This is all part of his process. And to me, he's handling this very, very well. We've talked a lot about his demeanor, a lot about how he seems unfazed by whatever is put in front of him. And I like that about him. I like that about he can still be a competitor. I don't want, this falls in line a little bit of how I feel we've received, I don't know, feedback or criticisms of maybe former coaches around the league or Kings coaches as well, if they're more laid back and kind of comfortable during a game. People assume that if you're up and yelling, you're coaching more. That's just a different style. You could be that super intense, emotional player like Draymond Green. Well, Keegan Murray is not that. You've got to be who you are, your authentic self. And I wouldn't ask Draymond Green to change. You want him to try to temper some of those situations where maybe a technical or a second technical costs him or costs the team. But Keegan Murray's on the other end of the spectrum where he just plays. He doesn't seem to get rattled or ruffled by any other player or any situation. Yesterday, there was a couple plays where, especially late, where he was getting much more aggressive and driving the basketball. I remember one, he went from right to left, got into the paint, and from my angle, it sure looked like he got fouled pretty obviously. And he didn't say a thing. He didn't even say a thing. He just went to the other end and actually fell down, got back up, and just ran back on defense. And it's a league filled with players that probably complain too much, I would say, and others that have short tempers or a quick little flash where they can just turn on a ref or a teammate or a coach. He seems pretty measured. I know he's still competitive, though. I don't want that to get lost, that he's a guy that, is just out there going through the motions. That's not what I'm saying. I've just been very, very impressed so far, and that's all we've been able to see, is just being unflappable. And I think that's a nice skill to have. He will utilize that to his best. And like I said, you've got to be who you are. When people want De'Aaron or others to be better leaders or dogs, we get that saying a lot. You got to be who you are. And I think the Kings will feel like they have more dogs to you, honestly, if they win. That's the honest truth. Now, they haven't done that nearly enough. You hope that Keegan's part of that. Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk, the existing players that they have, the new coaching staff. I even like the subtleties of the new coaching staff. And again, this is Summer League. Doesn't matter if they win. I know we're having fun with the ring talk and the Summer League championships. You're out here to compete, so go win it. But if you don't, you're also trying to develop the reality of the players that the Kings have here. This is about Keegan Murray, Nimi Keita, Keon Ellis, I think. And if you find anyone else, that's great. But those are the three primary guys that you have either signed as two-way players or you drafted for. And it's incredible. It's just incredible that Keegan has been able to do what he's done so effectively and have an impact. And the other two guys are doing their thing too. I think Keita has shown his growth. It's looked good how he's played out here. His rebounding presence was missed when he left the game yesterday. And Keon Ellis is clearly a guy that's just trying to get noticed. And how's he getting noticed? Defense. That's what this team needs the most. And that guy can defend. He gets after it. I don't know where his NBA future is, but if he keeps improving defensively and that jump shot starts to fall, that makes it really difficult for him to not be on the floor in whatever spot that is, Stockton or in Sacramento. So that's really what Summer League is about, is developing those kind of guys. If you find a gem on some of these other teams or your own team, sure. But a lot of these guys, like even yesterday, post-game, we played Jordy Fernandez, we played Keegan Murray. Frankie Ferrari had a good game. And he was one of the guys that came out to talk. I was also impressed with him. He was retired for a little bit. He's come back to play. He said his body is better now. He was hurt. And he's got such an amazing perspective. Of course, all these guys have dreams of being in the NBA. He's been a G League guy. He's playing here in the Summer League and in the California Classic. But he said, look, I am here basically to run this offense and to facilitate things for Keegan Murray, for Keon Ellis, and for Nimi Keita, and to make them better, to get this offense in the right spot and help those guys. Now, if I get noticed, great. But I mean, I think he knows his reality. He's probably at best a G League player. There's nothing wrong with that. He's still a professional basketball player. He loves the game. He's going to play as long as he can. But that gives you a little slice of the difference between a guy like Keegan Murray, who's drafted number 4, is going to be a big part of this organization, versus a guy that's out here doing the same thing, but likely with different results and a different career path than a guy like Frankie Ferrari. All right, we will break. We'll try to get things sorted out with Dave here still to come. We also will have Sam Amick. He will join us at the bottom of the hour. We got so much to go and so much more to get to here on Sactown Sports 1140.
If you want all the latest news and opinions about your favorite teams, visit us on IG, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140. The best and most expansive coverage of your local sports. Sactown Sports 1140.
Rate and the purchase markets are doing this thing and that thing. Shelby, as I always say, you're the captain of the ship that gets everybody through those waters. What's going on over at United Wholesale Lending?
We are heavily focused on purchase business right now.
This is the time of year, I know. You would think more people go and see houses, but how is that working as opposed to rates scaring people? Are we still seeing that huge influx of people going out there?
Well, there's some more inventory that's coming onto the market, and the market is shifting from a seller's market to a buyer's market. Even with the interest rates going up, now the market is kind of softening up and making it easier for home buyers to get their offer accepted and also to get a better deal.
You can pre-approve them on the phone in under 15 minutes without even running their credit. But what you also do is you give them the exact things they need to knock out personally so that they can get into homes.
That's exactly right. We create a roadmap to get them in the position to buy a house.
RefinanceWithShelby.com. That's RefinanceWithShelby.com. NMLS number 279051. BRA number 01864354.
Broadcasting live from the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas, it's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Brought to you by Power Business Technology. Visit them at powercopiers.com.
All right, we have, as they say, and I'm saying now, technical difficulties between me connected here from our friends in Las Vegas, and thank you to everybody out here helping set us up through the board in Sacramento, but also then try to do that with we got issues. Jay, I know you were scrambling.
Issues.
Yeah.
Issues I can't fix right at this second, so I have to call someone whose pay grade is a little higher than mine. Hard to do during a live show.
Yes. So we're scrambling. Unfortunately, we got to get this hopefully corrected for tomorrow and Wednesday. We hope to have Dave back and in full force, but he's getting himself better too. And I know I know as much fun as we're having out here. He dreads Vegas, but I think he would have enjoyed himself out here watching all the basketball. But we will hopefully have him connected. He is chatting in our YouTube chat. So if you guys have comments for them,
yeah, he's up.
And he's awake.
And I've talked to Marty this morning again. It's just there's an issue with, I put it this way. I could have got Dave on, but you would have had that reverb in your ears the whole time, and I don't think you would have appreciated that.
You know what? I could have pulled it off.
You could have, could you?
Yeah.
You want to pull it off right now?
No, that's okay.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's a lot easier than hearing the echo or the reverb, as you said. We're going to hear from Sam Amick coming up here in just a few moments. Some other thoughts too on the Kings. Jay, we haven't spent a lot of time on Keita and Keon Ellis because most everything really is Keegan. I mean, Keegan's likely going to be a starter and a major piece to this team. Keita, though, it's gotten better, and you could just see where when you draft a guy in the second round as an all defensive type player, and he got some minutes last year. It's about growth. It's about improving, and I've seen improvement in him. And it'll be tough to get him off the floor if and when he gets some chances to impress the Kings.
Yeah, I'm at, he's on the 2-way contract. I would imagine he's probably going to still spend a lot of time in Stockton because he's still very raw. But yeah, with a guy like Nimi Keita, you just kind of want to see incremental growth, right? And I think that's what we've seen so far in Summer League.
Yeah, I think that's happened with him. And, I was a little bummed that he got hurt yesterday. It doesn't sound like it's incredibly serious, but this team doesn't have a lot of bigs and doesn't have a lot of rebounding. And just like if you're talking about the schematics of a game, when he left the game yesterday, I'm like, man, they just can't get any rebounds without him.
Yeah, it's funny how certain things like that in Summer League translate at the NBA level, because I feel like there's been so many times over the years with the Kings, especially, you take out one big and the rebounding just goes to hell.
Yeah. And then Keon Ellis, I don't know what you've thought about him, but another 2-way guy the Kings have signed. And defense. We heard Seth Greenberg talk about how much he likes him. Boy, he gets after it, and he knows like if he hits his jump shots, that's his path into the league. But defense, he's gifted there.
Oh no, he's definitely got that side of the ball down. And it'll be interesting because he's another guy on a 2-way contract. I wouldn't be shocked if he continues solid play in summer league, and the Kings, they got 3 roster spots open right now. I wouldn't be shocked if they fill out the roster with a couple vets and Keon Ellis is that 15th guy.
Yeah, I know. I don't know where I'm kind of mixed or in believe. I don't even know what to say here on Quinn Cook and Dellavedova. Like, doesn't totally move the needle for me.
They're not needle movers. At the end of the day, those are guys to fill out the end of the bench, right?
Right.
Dellavedova, Quinn Cook, and I heard you in the last segment, and I was shocked too. And I'm like, Shabazz Muhammad.
Right.
I had no idea he was still playing.
Yeah, I didn't either.
You know, again,
and I saw him on the bench like with those other guys. I'm like, that's not who I think it is it? And then when you realize it, oh, it is. That's who the Kings are working out.
Yeah, that's who they're working out. And again, they still might make a trade that fills out the end of that bench. Again, none of those guys are going to move a needle at the end. They're just, again, they're pieces of the roster that are there to fill out the roster. That's how I looked. When I saw that those 3 guys were working out for the Kings, I didn't even like blink an eye. It's like, all right.
Right.
They won't be in the rotation.
Yeah. Are you with me or were you on the rest of the roster? I feel like there could be a little more depth in that 3-4 spot. Really, Barnes.
Isn't that kind of what we always say about the Kings?
Murray,
They could just have more depth on the wing.
Yeah, because I feel like guards, they're fine. In centers, they're in good shape because they still have Alex Len. They do have Holmes, and which if he can really settle into that backup role, that's like that made his career before he got here. And then Sabonis, like they're in a really good spot there. I feel like another at the 4, you got Murray, Trey Lyles, Chimezie Metu, and then Barnes at the 3. Like I just feel like they need at least one more in that range.
Yeah, you would like for them to find a backup for Barnes that is around the same length that can play the 3 or the 4. But again, those kind of players, they don't just grow on trees. The old saying goes, you got to go out and find them. But yeah, I think wing depth I think drafting Murray helped.
Yeah,
because he can go down and play the 3. Although I agree with you, I don't know how well he'll defend the 3 in the NBA, but he can certainly play it in a pinch. So they do need more depth on the wing. But again, we've been saying the Kings need more depth and more length on the wing now for about 5 years.
Yeah, I think Herter can slide to the 3 as well, just because he's 6'7". I know you were gone last week when that trade happened, or it happened the end of the week before. Your thoughts, because I know John Collins was linked to the Kings a lot. I personally liked when I heard Collins and Herter, and it may not affect a pick, but then when it just became Herter, I was a bigger fan of that personally than I am of Collins. But your impression, Jay, of adding Kevin Herter?
I think it's one of those moves we talked about Monty McNair making. It makes the team incrementally better. Kevin Herter is a really good shooter that doesn't need the ball in his hands in order to be successful. And I think more so than anything, he's a great complementary piece if you're running your offense through Sabonis and Fox. And I thought they got him for kind of next to nothing. I mean, that draft pick's pretty heavily protected.
Yeah.
If it conveys, it'll convey, I think, what is it, top 14 next year, and then 12, and then 10, and then 2 seconds. I would imagine your hope is, right, if that pick does convey, it's in a year or 2. When the Kings are a playoff team, and you're not even
that's no problem.
Yeah, you're not going to miss that pick. It sucks. You can't really, it does hamper a little bit of what you can do as far as trading future picks. But again, for a guy as talented as Herter, who fits not just a positional need, but gives you length at that position and shooting, which we have said it over and over again in the offseason. If you are going to run your offense through Fox and Sabonis, you have to surround them with shooters. Herter's a near 40% shooter from 3. Barnes was a 40% shooter from 3. You would imagine Keegan Murray, I believe, shot 43 last year at the college level. If he's around 40 next year, you've done what you've needed to do, right?
Yeah, certainly addressing that. And, at the cost, like you said, heavily protected draft picks and Holiday and Harkless. So Atlanta, I guess they did that to free up some money. I'm not entirely sure why Atlanta did it.
Well, they're going to start Murray next to
Trae Young,
thank you.
Right.
And so you would realistically be bringing Herter off the bench. He makes a lot of money for a guy you're bringing off the bench, number 1. And then number 2, more importantly, that team has gotten to be very, very expensive.
Yeah.
And they were the 8th seed last year. And you still you have Collins money still on the books. But remember, DeJounte Murray is going to be due a big extension. He's going to be due a big extension. DeAndre Hunter is going to be due an extension. So that team's going to get progressively more expensive and would have been going into the luxury tax. This move, I think, from Atlanta's standpoint was let's acquire an asset, seeing that we just traded a bunch of picks for DeJounte Murray and clear up some cap space because Harkless and Holiday are both free agents at the end of the year.
Yeah.
When you got to, pay DeJounte Murray eventually, and when you got Hunter doing an extension.
Another talking point out here, Jay, with the Kings people, and that's there's a decent amount of media that have made their trip out here. It has been who starts at the 2. And again, we'll say this 100 times, and we've said it 100 times before. It doesn't really matter who starts, but it will be an interesting debate because obviously it's Fox starting at the 1, but you can make an argument for Davion. You can make an argument for Terrence Davis, and certainly for Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter. I think I love the competition part of that, but literally someone has to start. Maybe that's fluid for Mike Brown, or maybe it's as simple as whoever's going to play the best defense is going to be the starting 2.
Yeah, and don't forget Terrence Davis, when you talk about defense, is a guy that, had shown signs, although I don't think he's in contention to start, but he's going to be looking to try to get minutes too. If I had to guess right now what the Kings starting 5 is based upon what the roster is today, it would be Fox, Huerter, Barnes, Murray, and Sabonis, just because that to me feels like the starting lineup that gives you the most length on the perimeter, which we've talked about again ad nauseum. It's something the Kings have truly lacked. I like Malik Monk better off the bench as more of a spark plug. I think that's what their starting 5 would be right now today.
Yeah, I know in their introductory press conference, Huerter and Monk both talked about the competition. That's good. It's healthy when you have people battling in practice, certainly for minutes in games. That's a good thing. So the Kings have themselves in a pretty good spot there in the backcourt, but we'll see what else is still to come from Monty and that front office. All right, still to come for us. When we come back, had a chance to get our conversation with Sam Amick. He's out here in Vegas. Pretty good stuff from Sam coming your way next.
Breaking news, the latest happenings with your favorite teams.
You ever wonder about what the heck all these kids are doing on computers all the time?
Stay up to date with all of it by following us on Instagram and Twitter.
Excuse me, gentlemen, a little update for you.
At Sactown 1140.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Melanie Hunter in the KCRA3 Weather Center. It's a warmer start in the upper 60s near 70 degrees. That'll lead to another hot day. We'll get sunshine and light winds with daytime highs maxing out in the 101 to 105 range. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Shop a dealership you can trust. Folsom Lake Kia, over 20 years right here in Sacramento. Save big on your favorite new Kia models and get low interest financing. Visit my friends at FolsomLakeKia.com. Greetings, Sacramento, and everyone listening to KHTK. It's Doug Christie here with the Good Feet Store asking, when was the last time you did something nice for your feet? If you're like most people, your feet get attention only when there's a problem. That can mean something painful, maybe real painful, like plantar fasciitis. That was me. I counted on my feet to make a living, but ignored them until almost too late. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet Store, got my free personalized fitting and test walk, and in 20 minutes, I left with my expertly fit Good Feet 3-step arch support system. The pain was no more, and my feet have never felt so comfortable. I'm a Good Feet believer, and you can be too. Come in for a free fitting and test walk. Visit the Good Feet Store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, and Modesto. Online at goodfeet.com.
The PGA Tour is back in Napa Valley with the Fortinet Championship. Join us September 15th through the 18th at Silverado Resort and Spa for world-class golf, Napa hospitality, and powerhouse performances by Cole Swindell and One Republic. Secure tickets now at FortinetChampionship.com.
This is Jerry and Kenny from Bell Brothers Plumbing, Heating, and Air. When it comes to tune-ups and repairs, you might think that all technicians are the same, aren't they?
They go to heating and air conditioning school, learn what they need to know, then show up on your doorstep to service your unit. What's the big deal?
Well, the big deal is that your heating and cooling system is the most technically advanced appliance in your home. And if they aren't 100% up to speed, you could be in for a long, expensive ordeal.
At Bell Brothers, we require 150 hours per year of mandatory, ongoing training for all of our technicians, regardless of their experience. A 25-year veteran sits in class twice a week right alongside a second-year apprentice.
Why? Because we're going to service your system right the first time, period.
Call Bell Brothers to schedule a precision tune-up and professional cleaning for just $87. Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
Sunrise Natural Foods wants to remind you that having a strong immune system has never been more important than it is today as we battle a global pandemic. Here at Sunrise, many of our customers are asking how they can boost their immune systems to stay healthy. Fortunately, there are many supplements that have shown to be beneficial for improving immunity, and we have the largest selection of supplements in town. Stop by our stores to check out our April savings. Sunrise Natural Foods, made with life's best ingredients.
Individual rates, coverage, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, listen up. Pi Insurance wants to give you one of those aha moments, the kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right, but many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. And with helpful representatives just a call away, it's easy to understand why Pi is rated excellent by customers on Trustpilot. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or go to trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Broadcasting live from the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas, it's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Brought to you by Power Business Technology. Visit them at powercopiers.com.
All right, this is the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. J-Mar's back in Sacramento. Jason Ross here in Las Vegas. We've already heard from Seth Greenberg from the G-Man. We had some audio there as well from Keegan Murray. Well, we're not going to get Sam on Thursday, Sam Amick, but he's out here in Vegas before his European vacation that's coming up with his family, so I know he's going to have a good time coming up. I had a chance to check in and catch up with Sam Amick yesterday. All right, here we go. We tracked him down. The international man of mystery, Sam Amick from The Athletic. Are you counting down the days to vacation?
I am indeed. Jay Ross, always great to see you. It's a shorter countdown than normal this year, checking out a little bit earlier, but also having to come to grips with the reality that chances are, while we're on vacation, Kevin Durant probably get traded somewhere. Kyrie probably go to the Lakers. Craziness will happen. The NBA has done an incredible job, as you know, of just kind of, capturing the spotlight almost 12 months out of the year. So even though you feel like we're kind of almost done, there's always something going on.
So you've got this amazing European vacation. But if either of those two things happen, do you have to work or does the family understand? What's the process?
So as often happens in our visits on KHTK, I will be like an athletic commercial for my company because to our company's credit, we are loaded when it comes to good basketball writers and we have other folks who can weigh in. So in years past, like when I was at USA Today and I was the only West Coast based national writer, you felt like anything west of the Mississippi, if I didn't have something to say and have something to report, then we didn't have a presence. But our place nationally, when you're talking about Shams Charania, John Hollinger, Joe Varden, all these guys, we got bodies, we got good voices.
So, but can you be get into full Clark Griswold European vacation mode, or
yes,
will you follow Durant when how can you get away?
You can, you have to, not to get corny, but you and I have been doing this a long time. You kind of reaches the point, especially we got families, I think you kind of owe it to them to go be in the moment a bit and enjoy yourself. Will I maybe jump on the phone for a few minutes? Am I going to read, maybe send a few texts? We'll see. But, you don't want to have it become a working vacation.
I want to ask you about the Kings in a minute, but when you're here, your colleagues, the other people, everybody that runs into, is that still the number one topic? What's going to happen with KD and Kyrie? Or what are you guys all talking about here?
That's a big one because it's also had a ripple effect of tying up things like the DeAndre Ayton free agency where he's a restricted free agent, but teams have not wanted to give him, for one, the market's pretty dry in terms of max contracts, but the idea of him signing an offer sheet, with anybody could potentially rule out certain sign and trade scenarios that would be Durant related. So a lot of moving parts, a lot of layers to it. So, those Kyrie, Kevin, Aiden are the big ones. Today, as you and I talk, more Summer League focused, but James Wiseman for the Warriors going to play later in the day. And for them, that's a big one. That's their number one pick that obviously been hurt. So I love it, though, because last year when we were here, you're still making your way through the pandemic like we are now, but you and I are sitting here talking in a physical space that the nickname is the Pit, which is really like a who's who of the NBA. And last year we thought in terms of media access that we would be back in the Pit, but then there was a COVID uptick right before Summer League it was in August last year. It was much later. So we didn't get this kind of access, and that matters a lot for what we do. I mean, you can probably tell, like, I'm tired. I'm tired out here, but you are just running into everything from GMs, agents, assistant GMs, players, coaches. Just chatted with Alvin Gentry a few minutes ago, obviously still with the Kings. So it's a great event. You just can't replicate, these kind of interactions anywhere else.
I hear Vegas voice. I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
That's whatever happens here. It's just you've got Vegas voice.
I do have it, and I guess I can confess publicly. I have an annual habit of enjoying a stogie. So you're hearing stogie voice as well.
Let's ask you about the Kings. I know you've seen them play. I mean, there's a lot going on here. Everybody kind of watches games, kind of checks in and out. But Keegan Murray's their number one priority, at least out here. What have others said? What impressions have you heard from other people when they kind of talk about the Kings and Keegan Murray?
A lot of really good buzz. He's played well. The other day, the Magic game was a barn burner, making Summer League history with big comeback and double overtime and sudden death. And obviously they got the short end of it with that overturned Paolo Banchero block. But Keegan hitting that three in the corner. Those are good Summer League moments. I loved, and admittedly, I watched that game with Keegan more closely than any of the other ones, but the spirit of like his kind of mano-a-mano matchup with Paolo was cool, because I told somebody earlier today that this environment's weird because the media is very focused on these relationship stuff I talked about. You're not always watching very closely, but sometimes it's good to look up at the court and remind yourself that, like, guys are absolutely getting after it because their livelihood is on the line. Not just the lottery picks, but all these Summer League guys. Yeah. And, I was in the gym on the other side, and I don't know why I'm blanking on what team it was. Oh, the Pacers. I'm sorry, Pacers-Kings game. The Pacers were celebrating like they beat the Kings in a playoff game, and bodies on the floor. So the basketball is actually pretty good, and it's obviously grown. And I'm definitely not answering your question, Jason, because I'm fatigued. Keegan Murray is getting buzz. Like, he's a really good player. Obviously, the discussion immediately becomes Jaden Ivey, Keegan Murray. Plenty of people think they should have taken Jaden. Sure. I'm torn, and I've been telling people, like, I like the moves of the offseason. I think they'll be better, but I would be surprised if they're in the playoffs because the West is tough. So it's like, they are obviously incredibly invested in De'Aaron Fox, and felt, just me talking, but I think it's true, like, that Keegan was a better fit, But it certainly helps that so far he looks like a hell of a player who can help right now.
So you do like Herter, you like Monk, those with drafting Murray, but to your point, just the landscape of the West, it may not be enough.
It is. I got to paint the picture for your listeners here. The Warriors are about to take the floor. James Wiseman, the man of the hour, just walked by us. So this is just giving you a little flavor. Jonathan Kuminga coming by. I don't think he has time for an exclusive interview, but
we could have done a walk by.
We could have, exactly. But repeat the last question. Apologies. Man, I'm a train wreck here.
Just the overall additions you said you like, but just because the landscape, you just don't think it's enough of the West.
It's not. I mean, we'll see. Minnesota, I like what they did with Gobert. I do. So I think Minnesota's better. New Orleans, finishing the way they did last year, getting Zion Williamson. The point is, for the Kings' purposes, some of these fringe playoff teams, are not fringe anymore. So they're going to have some slots in the West playoff landscape that look like they're unofficially already filled. The numbers game just looks tough right out the gate. But I like the Monk deal a lot. I thought it kind of helped them avoid criticism from the DiVincenzo situation. And I like the idea that if De'Aaron's going to shock the world and take another jump and look kind of worthy of everything they've invested into him, not just contract-wise, but building your roster around De'Aaron Fox, then Malik, a guy that he has a personal connection with from Kentucky and a guy coming off the best year of his NBA career on that contract, is really good production, really efficient contract. The Kevin Huerter one, you got control of a guy who around the league people still think he's a pretty good player. And the one misnomer is that he's like a pretty decent team defender. I know the analytics on the Kings side, the work they did, that he like really stood out. That defensively, Mike Brown should be able to do some things with him there. It's just a matter of like how much better can they be.
That's what I want to ask you about. I mean, coaching, whether it's been the problem or part of the problem, you need better rosters and all the turmoil, everything they've been through that How much of an impact do you think Mike Brown and the new staff can have in making this team better?
Before you even get to the X's and O's, I think what Mike had to say at his press conference and then where Mike is at. Nice to see you, sir. Good. Oh, sorry, doing a radio thing. Yep. Summer League people. Yes. Is the culture part of the conversation that he shared at his press conference is legitimate. And if he can come in, he's a very positive guy, but he's not a sugarcoater, and he's pretty rough. Now, rough's the wrong word. He's just pretty direct with young guys. It's funny because as the Warriors roll by, it makes me think about, Jordan Bell is a former Warrior who got in trouble when he was with the Warriors. We wrote about this at the time, and he had put some stuff on Mike Brown's hotel bill. I might have told you this story. Yes. And and Mike kind of decided that, young fella needed to learn a lesson. And so that's his style. And on the court, Steph Curry has talked about how the Warriors have these defensive report cards, and they all really want to check out well and have Mike's approval. That speaks volumes. These are future Hall of Famers, some of the best of all time. So the culture stuff and him really being what they want is for him to legitimately be the most influential member of the organization. So that, first and foremost, will be interesting to watch unfold. And then, on the court, he's just a guy that we know defensively he's done some really good things in the past. But I do wonder, because personnel-wise, you can't always make chicken soup out of chicken you-know-what, and that's going to be his challenge.
All right, lastly, we're hearing about Dellavedova, Quinn Cook, Shabazz Napier as potential roster fillers for this team. Any insight onto that and what, if anything, those guys could provide?
I wish I had more for you there. I certainly saw the reports of them working out. Dellavedova, it's interesting because I'm trying to remember if it was a knee. He dealt with something not too long ago where it looked like he might have to retire, and so he's obviously trying to make his way back. Quinn Cook, I keep mentioning the Warriors. He had kind of 15 minutes with the Warriors with some fun moments. He's a shooter, but they're trying to work around the edges and find guys that can help them. Again, it obviously all goes back to the West and the idea that they need firepower, and they it's going to be tough.
Well, enjoy your European vacation. We won't hear from you for a couple weeks. I hope you just stay disconnected and enjoy your time.
Thank you, sir. Always good seeing you, Jay.
All right, that is Sam Amick. I said Shabazz Napier. Shabazz Muhammad is the guy the Kings are potentially looking at working out. We'll see ultimately what happens there. All right, we got a break. We went long there with Sam. We appreciate his conversation. We heard from Sam, from G-Man, from Seth Greenberg. We had tried Carmichael Dave before. Looks like we're going to try again. He'll be with us hopefully for the last segment with the news to wrap things up next.
It's Sactown Sports 1140. You wanted more Kings coverage? Online at SactownSports.com. More Niners, more Raiders. SactownSports.com. This is Sactown Sports 1140.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave talking about my friends at American Energy. $49 tune-up offer. I did it 2 weeks ago. You should do it too. It's only $49 for an air conditioning tune-up, and you get a free indoor air quality test. Oh, it's so simple. Call today to schedule your appointment with my local friends at American Energy at 916-520-9990. Catch the 916 there, $99.90, A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Been around since 81. Go to AmericanEnergyAir.com. Hey, kids, it's Carmichael Dave talking to you about Capital Casino. Summertime heat is here, and Cap Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, wants to invite all of you to soak up some air conditioning, hang out, have some food, have a beverage. Always the most variety of table games in the region. Always the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay. Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
The new Fords have arrived at Folsom Lake Ford. I know you've been waiting for a new F-150 or maybe an Explorer or Expedition. Guess what? Folsom Lake Ford has them. Your truck headquarters for over 30 years right here in Sacramento is all stocked up with new Fords and used vehicles. Save with low interest financing on your favorite new models and zero down deals available on all new and used vehicles with approved credit. Get top dollar for your trade, making your monthly payment on your new Ford even lower. Folsom Lake Ford is the only dealership I recommend to my friends. A Triple Crown Award winner for sales, service, and finance. Highway 50 Folsom exit, or browse fresh inventory online at folsomlakeford.com. It's updated almost daily. And if you can't find what you're looking for, give them a call. Tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford.
Hi, I'm Flo from Progressive. Being a baseball fanatic like me can be stressful. It's not all sports points and touchdowns. So Progressive is going to help you take your mind off your team for a moment. Instead of thinking about how they missed that goal point score, think about the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, letting you choose coverage options based on your budget, unlike your team that missed the end zone net area. Well, anyway, hope this distraction about Progressive's Name Your Price tool was helpful. It sure kept me from thinking about all those penalty balls. Yay, sports!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
At Lowe's, every pro is an MVP to us. That's why we're introducing MVP's bonus points to our rewards and partnership program. It's the only pro loyalty program where you can earn points just by downloading our app or shopping select items by trusted brands and more. Then redeem your points for rewards that level up your business. Join MVP's Pro Rewards today and earn your first 1,000 points. MVP's Pro Rewards program subject to program terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/L/pro loyalty terms. Subject to change.
When there's trouble in the bedroom, it can hurt more than just your confidence. It can hurt your marriage or dating life. Not knowing if you'll be able to perform at any moment doesn't help either. Pacific Men's Clinic can help. Go to the clinic that specializes in one thing, making your love life the best it can be by solving the problem at its source. Pacific Men's Clinic's non-invasive procedure. It's safe and pain-free. Call 916-545-7577 for your free consultation now. That's 916-545-7577.
Stand by on this frequency. It's time for the news of the day.
Thank you for ruining the show and dropping a steamer on my journalistic integrity.
Today's important headlines, intelligent analysis, hard-hitting interviews. Yeah, this is none of those things. Here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
Oh my God, I love those guys.
Oh, it's that time for the news, but first, let's welcome him in. Let's hear how he sounds. I think through the magic of technology, we have Carmichael Dave. Good morning, Carmichael Dave. Oh, good morning, Carmichael Dave.
Really?
Oh, you thought you had it, huh?
I'm sending you to him.
Does he hear me?
Can you hear him, Dave? Because I have you in queue. Hold on.
Okay, I don't hear Dave. I hear you.
Go ahead and talk. I got to figure this out again.
All right. Well, darn it. We'll get it worked out. Anyway, it is time for the news. Let's see what we've got here today, Jay, to talk about in our news segment, our final segment here of the day. We always give you what today is, the national calendar. Well, it's 7-Eleven, the date. So it's National 7-Eleven Day. 7-Eleven, good for the quick snack, good for a Slurpee. Banana Slurpees, by the way, the best. I don't even think it's a debate. Trying to think of others. Banana and cherry, I like to mix them. I don't know the last time I've had one, but banana's a great Slurpee. All-American Pet Photo Day. Sure. National Blueberry Muffin Day. National Cheer Up the Lonely Day. National Mojito Day. Oh, and this one personally for our very own Doug Christie. National Rainier Cherry Day. Doug would bring in Rainier cherries to the studio and eat them. And then he's like, you got to try these. I'm like, they're just cherries. He's like, no, they're Rainier cherries. And then I tried them, and he was right. They're good. They're great. They're great. So, yeah.
We're not going to be able to get Dave.
Hopefully, DC's enjoying that today. We will not be able to get Dave. We've just punted. We audibled, Jay. You thought you had it. And I
do have. That's the thing. I do have it. I know what I've done is correct. So there's something else that's happening. I'll contact an engineer.
It's the gremlins. That's all we can deal with here. We just got to keep it going.
Though.
All right, let's see what else we got here news-wise. Let's get you a little on this date before we get you some birthdays, Jay Mars, to see how you do there. 1922, July 11th. So 100 years ago today, the Hollywood Bowl opened. Have you ever been to the Hollywood Bowl?
I have not. I've always wanted to go to a concert there.
It's pretty cool. I've only been a couple. I mean, I went, excuse me, as a kid, and don't really remember a lot of my times. But I went a few years ago. Actually, went down there, saw Rod Stewart.
Stewart?
Yeah, he was really good. It was a random one, but he was really good.
Did you think he was sexy? You see what I did there? I know Rod Stewart songs.
Let me see. I went there with Maggie. What else does he have? I don't even know Rod Stewart songs. I should know him. I went and saw him, but yes, he was sexy. He was great. He was impressive. Hollywood Bowl, 100 years old.
Rod.
Let's see. 1967 on this date, the Newlywed Game premiered.
Wow. That's been around for that long. That's over 50 years. 55 years, right?
Yeah, the Newlywed Game. How about that?
You ever been on it?
I've not been on it.
Same.
I have done we were in a little phase where we would do we would play game shows like from our house. Like, you're not on the TV, but like, okay, we can answer that question, or certain ones where you're, password or different things where you have to give clues. Like we would mute the TV and then try to. Yeah, I've done that. Have you ever done that with game shows?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and not in a long time. I haven't watched game shows in a while, but I'm not sure. Are game shows making a resurgence? Because I've seen advertisement, after NFL football, it's Celebrity Family Feud or something like that.
They must be cheaper to make, right?
Oh, game shows have to be extremely cheap to make.
Yeah, I know they have pricing, but other than that, it's just, pay your host, there's a crew and all that, but yeah, it seems pretty straight line to get that. And obviously they must do well enough on ratings. This date, 2013, Orange is the New Black premiered on Netflix. I've not seen an episode.
I gave it a try. Wasn't for me.
Really? I was going to say, if you gave it a try, you probably liked it, but you didn't like it?
Did not. And I gave it multiple episodes, just couldn't get into it. As you take a drink of your vitamin water.
It was obviously... It was females in prison. Is that the premise?
No, that's pretty much it on its most basic level.
Mm-hmm.
Just couldn't get into it.
Yeah,
I know there's people there that swear by it, just not for me.
A couple of others sports related here, Jay. Let's see, July 11th, 2014. LeBron penned the letter to Sports Illustrated. I'm coming home. LeBron left Miami and went to Cleveland. I remember that. That was a little bit surprising. And of all his championships, I think that one in Cleveland is his best and probably most rewarding.
Does anyone even remember the Lakers or the Heat titles?
I do, but I mean, that Cleveland one to beat the Warriors, to come back from 3-1. That was the 73-win Warrior team. The Cavs that was a tough spot for them, and they beat them. They lost a bunch of others to them, but that one for LeBron and for Cleveland has to be their most amazing title.
Oh, yeah. Well, for Cleveland, for sure, because, I mean, the last title was the Guardians now in 1948. So, no, yeah, for Cleveland, that was obviously their most memorable title, bar none. But, yeah, with LeBron James, again, I feel like winning one title in Cleveland would be equivalent to winning 5 somewhere else.
That's probably true. Like, whoever leads the Kings to a title will be legendary forever.
Forever. You will never buy another meal in this town again if you're that guy. All the more reason for free agents to want to come here.
Yeah. Even if someone comes here and they've won 4 titles, like if Steph Curry ended his career and somehow won one here, like, for us, it would be the biggest thing he's ever done.
Oh, for sure. And even, as great as those Warriors titles were, especially the first and the fourth one, I got to imagine, like you said, leading the Sacramento Kings, the proverbial doormat of the NBA for 50 plus years, to a title, that just puts you on a different stratosphere.
Exactly. Well, we can only wish. How about on this day, Jay, July 11th, 1981, or 1989, excuse me, Bo Jackson led off the All-Star game with a home run. The unique part of that game was in the booth at the time was Vin Scully with Ronald Reagan. Yes.
The president.
I'm sure Reagan stepped all over that call, probably.
Well, then Reagan, God, he was just out of office then. So, yeah, looking for stuff to do. I'm going to go, call the All-Star game with Vin Scully.
I'm not sure. I'm assuming he was just in there for an inning, but that's weird to lead off the game.
I would hope
so. He was there. July 11th, 1985, Nolan Ryan became the first of 4,000 strikeouts, striking out Danny Heap.
Oh, the great Danny Heap.
The great Danny Heap of the Mets, I believe, a little lefty, light-hitting left-hander.
Okay, did you know that, or did you just look that up, that Danny Heap played for the Mets?
No, that's what I'm going with. I think he did. I'm going off of my baseball cards. I think Danny Heap was a Met.
Attaboy.
Steve Carlton, Randy Johnson, and Roger Clemens since have made it to 4,000 strikeouts. Jay, you ready for some celebrity birthdays?
Yes, please. Let's do it.
All right. You don't have competition. It's just you and you only.
All right.
Happy birthday today to Lil' Kim. How old is Lil' Kim today?
Lil' Kim. Trying to do some
Have you been anywhere with Lil' Kim in your music background?
Like in the same vicinity, or like seen her in
a concert, a show,
I saw
a studio?
When Bad Boy did their reunion tour, I saw her.
Okay.
Not very good.
Oh, Lil' Kim or Bad
Kim's, both.
Okay.
Kim was bad, though. I'll say Lil' Kim is 47.
Very good. She's 48 today.
Dang it.
So
I was actually going to go 48, and I pulled back.
She's 47 yesterday. So, I mean, if I asked you yesterday, you would have been right. But she's 48 today. Happy birthday today to Lisa Rinna. You know who Lisa Rinna is?
Lisa Rinna.
I think she's...
Her and Leah Remini are not the same person.
Not the same, though I've not seen them in the same spot. I don't know what other show she was famous for, but she's in Real Housewives of, I don't know, LA or Beverly Hills or whatever. And she was married, or is married still, I think, to another Harry
Styles.
So just a rough guess based on that. I know that's pretty tough.
52.
Okay, 59. That was you didn't have knowledge there.
But I'm in the 50s. I'll give myself a lot of credit there because I have no idea who that is.
Yeah. Nadia Solomon, who you may not know the name, but it's Octomom.
Oh my God.
You know the reference, right?
Yeah.
How old is she turning today?
46.
Wow, very good. She was 46 yesterday.
Dang
47 today. All right, let's go. We're gonna test you here, Jay.
All right.
Giorgio Armani.
Oh, the great Giorgio Armani played for the Kings.
Yes, back in the
Armani.
Kansas City Kings days. The original Giorgio Gorgas.
Armani.
Yes.
74.
Oh, you were very generous to him. 88 today.
Ooh.
Yeah, good for Giorgio Armani. The last one we've got for you today, Richie Sambora. How old is Richie Sambora of what? Bon Jovi?
Yeah, 67.
Okay, 63 today.
Oh, not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I did pretty good for these today.
I do too. And I think you would have beat Dave. I think we've learned that you're better at these than Dave.
Yeah, I'm a good birthday or guesser guyer.
Birthday or guesser guyer.
Birthday or guesser guyer.
I like that. Well, we're going to be back tomorrow. Scheduled for tomorrow, we got some guests coming your way. Hopefully, little birdie told me I may get a chance to talk to Monty McNair today. And I think he's going to tell me the full rundown of everything they're doing, who they're trading for, what other names they're looking at, when he's signing his extension. I'm going to get all that from him.
Well, it's about damn time. Let me tell you why. Because you know what? In all the interviews he's never done, he's never let us in on all of that stuff.
Yeah, this is the time. This in Vegas is when it all happens.
Monty, we're trying to get some clicks here, bro.
That's right.
Help us out.
So hopefully I'll get a chance to talk to him, a few others, whoever else is out and about today. I know as far as the Summer League schedule, Kings don't play today. They, in fact, don't play again until Wednesday. But a lot of people are excited today, Jay, for, let's see, who was the matchup today? Because I had it here. Summer League. I want to say it's Chet versus Paolo today.
Ooh, Chet and Paolo.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people will be watching that game.
A lot of different takes on Chet Holmgren so far in a few Summer League games.
Yeah, I will say this. Obviously we evaluated Keegan Murray far more than Paolo. Paolo's good. And the other thing, like I was down on the court before the game, and all these guys are massive. Paolo's a big man.
Yeah,
like,
he's huge.
He's 6'10". I don't know what his weight is, but like he is put together, and you're like, wait, he's 19? Like what is happening in this world these days?
I think Orlando made the right choice with Paolo at number 1.
That's who I would have done. You know, Chet, I think, is so skilled, though. He's going to be good, too. So that's it for us. Thanks to all our guests today. It was great to check in with Sam Amick, Seth Greenberg, and G-Man. For J Mars, I'm Jason Ross. Jim Rome is next. See ya!
Sactown Sports 1140 is broadcasting live on YouTube.
To me, it's a must-watch.
Check out the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross and the Cattles and Rami Show. Plus, get exclusive content. Search Sactown Sports 1140 on YouTube.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said?